Meeting to come to order. Welcome, everyone. It's Monday, October seventh, 7 o'clock. We are in hybrid at the Southwick Town Hall. We are in meeting room 3 at 454 College Highway. We'll introduce ourselves. We'll go around the table from this side.
Mehmet,
Chris Pratt,
Norm Cheever, Kevin Solik, Dennis Clark, Jerry Patrick.
all right. And welcome everybody online as well. So we will start off tonight. We will do some public comment. Does anybody have public comment? Nobody here? Anyone online? Okay. We will move on. We can go right to our first hearing. We have an NOI. The Southwick Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing under the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Law C 131, Section 40 of the Southwick Conservation Commission Regulations and Bylaw, Chapter 182 and Chapter 450 for a notice of intent via hybrid meeting, Zoom and in person. The project location is 306 Feeding Hills Road, Southwick, Mass. Map 71, parcel 001-000. The applicant proposes the construction of a 2-family dwelling with the associated site improvements. Portions of work are within the buffer zone. And welcome.
All right, hey everyone. For the record, Ryan Nelson from R. Levesque Associates. As mentioned, 306 Feeding Hills Road. This is next to the, I think the Agawam overflow property on that stretch of road. Here's the property. There is a stream off to the eastern side, some segments of BVW alongside of it. This project was submitted something similar back in 2012. And as part of that submittal, the stream was petitioned to be intermittent from the perennial map-based presumption. The stream photos and videos were submitted at the time. And so that eliminated the 200-foot riverfront, and we only had a 100-foot buffer zone projecting onto the site. However, since the time we've submitted it, in addition to Mass DEP comments, we can't find a good record of the previous determination and the language that stated it was intermittent. I'm not sure what happened there. Regardless, also another point that was picked up by DEP that wasn't shown on the original 2012 filing was the point at which the stream, you can't provide evidence it's intermittent, it's perennial beyond that point. You can't assume beyond that. So if you were to draw a 200-foot riverfront arc from the limits of that delineation, some riverfront still does clip the property. So rather than reworking the site around that, I stopped at the site today. Stream is dry. So ultimately, I think our plan is to continue tonight, get 4 fresh new days of stream documentation at a greater extent than what we previously did, so that there's no riverfront at all, and it just simplifies things.
Okay,
That's where we stand.
all right. Well, we'll make a motion for continuance.
Second,
All in favor? Well, say Mehmet.
Aye.
Chris Pratt, aye.
Norm Cheever, aye. Kevin Solik, aye. Dennis Clark, aye. Jerry Patrick, aye.
Okay, so that'll be soon. You had 4 weeks you asked for? 4
The
days. So next meeting will be fine.
next meeting's fine.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
You don't want
2
4 weeks.
No, not 4 weeks.
2 weeks it is.
Sure, yeah,
All right. Be the 21st.
okay.
So the next 4 weeks, I doubt it will rain anyway.
It's not supposed to rain this week, so should be good.
Yeah, and we're not technically in a drought, so
No, not yet.
we lucked out.
Thank you.
You're right.
Thank you so much.
Okay, it is after 7:05, so we'll move on to our next NOI. We have 55 Foster Road is continued. Proposed construction of a single family home within the riverfront buffer zone bordering vegetated wetlands.
Oh, good evening, everybody. I'm Steve Riberty, principal ecologist over at Black Hunter Ecological, working with Anatoly Vidichuk. He's online as well, I believe. So I don't know, Sabrina, if you want to start it off. I know last we left it, it was going to go out to peer review. We got peer review comments back. I just read those the other day. It seems like they pretty much agreed with our filing that everything was permittable. I believe there was some reach out in the interim to Mark Stinson at Mass DEP based on the last hearing to see if he had any additional comments on any of the revisions that had happened. And again, I wasn't overly involved in the back and forth, but it seemed like from what I had seen that he didn't really have any comments and was leaving it to the commission to make a decision. I think it was the peer review comments. There wasn't anything substantive. They had a comment on why I used they called it the Army Corps form, but I really used the new state forms that came out last year. Those are technically the requirement, but a lot of people still use the older mass forms that everybody's familiar with. And then he had a comment about, why can't the house be located closer to the street like the other houses on Foster Road? And I think we already went over that, when Anatoly was trying to get the planning board or zoning variance to have the house situated closer up, and it was denied. So it's kind of where it is now because he tried to get it, a variance to get it closer to the road. So that's kind of where the project's at. It's based on the peer review and the comments from Mark, and from my assessment of everything, I think it meets all the riverfront regulations. Where it's situated, it's a small house, pretty much as small as it's going to get, located as close to the road that he's allowed to do it. Very minimal yard around the edges. I think at this point we're looking to see if the commission can approve it tonight based on all the feedback we've had over the last several hearings. I know it's been kind of torturous getting to this point with all the back and forth and some miscommunications between you guys and the applicant and everything, but hopefully it's in, I think, a good spot now. I'll turn it back over to you guys for any comments or what your assessment of where things are at.
Okay, well, we did get some information back from Salvini Associates.
You guys have a copy of that in your folder.
It basically told us, things that we already understood, I believe. Yeah, a copy of that.
You have a
Written copy.
in your folder.
I should probably look in there. All right.
And this is the same, it's just on the other side. Oh.
So I'll read it out loud. It's fairly short. On behalf of Suffolk Conservation Visit, Salvini Associates LLC is submitting in this peer review resource area delineation, site design, and submittal for the proposed construction of a single family home located at 55 Foster Road. The subject property is wooded property located along the westerly side of Foster Road. There's a perennial stream running along the west end of the property with a small bordering vegetated wetland along the easterly bank of the stream. The stream is flagged along the mean annual high water line and along the eastern bank. The flagging follows the change in slope along the bank as well as a change in vegetation and is accurate. The banks are abrupt and steep and described as the stream bank width varies from 8 to 12 feet across. And there was flow at the time of the review. The BVW is located on the northwest corner of the property on a shallow terrace between the stream bank and the toe of the slope and upland forest. The slope is moderately steep and limits the western boundaries of the terrace along the stream. There may be a small isolated upland island within the wetlands with a couple of large eastern hemlock. However, it's of no consequence to the overall project. The vegetation described in the report, field data forms is accurate. I did not do any soil bores since hydrology and vegetation were obvious. Soil descriptions look accurate in the site and conditions. I was curious as why Army Corps wetlands forms were used instead of the Massachusetts BVW field data forms. Okay, and there's an additional BVW located in the adjacent property to the north and north at the bend of the stream. The buffer zone for this would mostly overlap the described BVW buffer zone, except at the northeast corner of the property. The riverfront would be adjusted to the east. However, this area is already within the riverfront, so it would be of no consequence to the site layout. And the remainder of the property is pretty much upland, so that's we've already went out to see. So basically where the proposed structure is located is the best location, or the road at the top of the hill is the best location to access the property between the two slopes. It's a triangular plateau. It's level and dominated by upland vegetation. The entire property is forested except for the road front that is cleared along the utility lines. Okay, so the topography of the property does limit the options for placing a structure to the area that is shown in the plan. The proposed location is the best location on the property. The gradual slope behind the proposed house should work well for a buffer between the house and the resource areas. So basically, Salvinis are saying that's not a bad spot for where the house is proposed. As far as our peer review goes, was there any comment from Mark Stinson? I didn't,
He said it was fine.
yeah,
It's up to you guys.
that's all I saw. Okay. Well, the only thing I think that we noticed, there's a little bit of discrepancy between the NOI and the drawn plan. In the NOI, I think it states that there are gonna be some dry wells, but there's none depicted on the plan. Can you explain
Is this it?
that?
I put that in the narrative, just as something that they could do to kind of infiltrate water to kind of alleviate some runoff. I think that could be something you guys could just condition that they're installed. It's just basically putting the gutter pipes into a stone hole in the ground.
Just for gutter infiltration, or is it storm?
Yeah, just for roof infiltration.
Okay. So it'll be basically be around the house itself.
Yeah, right next to the foundation.
Yeah.
A little couple feet away, not, right
Well,
next.
right, yeah, we don't want to flood the basement.
But the area is pretty sandy, that upper slope where the house is, there's minimal, infiltration there should be pretty good.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Sabrina, do you have any thoughts? What do you think about this?
I guess my only concern would be down the road. Trimming or cutting of trees.
Could you put that in the ongoing conditions, order conditions?
And also, we talked about monumenting the line of this,
That's on the plans, yeah.
Yeah. but we might do a little bit more heavy and more.
I'd like to see a strong.
And closer.
Conditions on this before we actually vote on it.
Okay,
So I think in the past, there's been a continued condition saying that no further alteration within the riverfront. And I guess like in perpetuity, you've
Yeah,
done that in the
that's,
past.
that's been done in the past.
You
Yeah.
could do that.
Yeah.
I guess my concern with the trees is not necessarily alteration, but the ability for the homeowner to insure their home. Cause I've been seeing, insurance companies telling people that they need to cut trees down that are kind of overhanging,
too close to the house.
too close to the house. But I mean, that's my only concern with this project. And I don't know how you solve that. Cause the person needs to be able to insure their home.
I
Right.
think if something like that were to happen, they'd have to come into you with the letter from the insurance company and then ask for permission to do whatever that is.
And the other thing that's a little concerning is you have a riverfront enhancement area. Past the limit of work, so what's
Oh, it's in the, yeah, it's just, I think it's laid out on the plan. We're just gonna be planting some extra shrubs in there to kind of increase the buffer density, so it's more of a visual barrier and produces some wildlife habitat. So I
You're
know
not
there
gonna,
was
you're not gonna be cutting anything in there first?
no,
and
no,
then-
no, that's just strictly just planting.
Okay,
They have a comment too. Concerned that there's a 10-foot buffer zone between the property line on the southern side. On the first design, it was a slab, was less concerned then, but now it's a full basement. To put a foundation in with only 10 feet on the outside. I don't know how they can do that without damaging the neighbor's property.
Oh, the 10-foot setback,
Yeah.
yeah,
or the setback,
So
oh,
that's a
that's a plan.
planning board or,
But there'll be quite a few constraints on this
Yeah.
project as it is, that's why I'm saying.
Yeah.
A strict order of conditions
a
would be.
little out of our purview, but
I don't see any reasons to deny it. The only thing that potentially, because it says you may allow within the 200 feet, doesn't say we have to allow it, but I don't see any specific reasons to deny it, so.
May allow 5,000 square feet alteration within the riverfront.
It says
Yeah.
may,
May, yeah, it's your choice. You can say you want a smaller amount of alteration, if any. That is your choice.
I think the best thing would be to have a. Like we did on the last project with the order conditions that were very specific and bond monies and everything like that.
Mhm. okay,
So
any more discussion?
Can I see the map again?
Yeah.
I'll see this.
we'll post the hearing, then we could decide on the conditions later.
Yeah.
But you guys need to let me know what conditions you want me to put on.
No,
I think some of the conditions would be with the planting, the enhanced buffer area, what we want to see down there.
right,
What they proposed with the mountain laurel and the, stripe maple.
Ongoing conditions to ensure that nothing happens on the rest of the property.
unlimited work monumentation,
We hadn't put a conservation restriction on the rest of the property on the side of mountain property. To ensure that nothing else would happen in that area.
And that was filed in the registry of deeds. I think I read that, yeah.
Right. Might want to think about that.
Who wrote that up?
Is that Levesque? I think
So
it was Levesque that did that. You don't remember?
we could have, make sure the monumentation is in place before work begins.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want monumentation before the work?
Oh, the workers are usually the ones that go past the limit of
Well,
work.
the silt fences would act as
Yeah.
a limit of work. But we'd probably want to have silt fences and more
Okay.
than silt fences, hay
You could do
bales.
construction fencing or something during construction, so it's more of a visual barrier too, just so it's like that orange fencing you see on construction sites.
He's familiar. Favorite.
I am, the orange stuff,
Your orange fence, yeah,
yeah, construction.
Snow
and
fence.
then,
that would work.
with silt fence.
No bond.
Oh, that won't be.
No bond.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Usual or more?
Hmm?
The usual or?
Oh, no, you think, let Dennis decide, I like when Dennis decides.
Can we get at the next meeting, have the order conditions ready to go? so
We can.
Vote on it then.
Yep.
So you don't have to.
So we can vote to close the hearing now, so, and we'll do our order conditions. We'll vote on those, can do that at the next hearing.
Motion to close the hearing.
Yep, looking for a motion to close the hearing.
Motion to close the hearing. Second.
Yep, tie. Who it out?
Who said it?
They both did.
I'll give it to them.
Okay. Generous chair. Okay,
We need photo finish.
okay, all in favor? We'll go around the table.
Aye.
Aye,
Norm, aye. Kevin, aye.
Dennis, aye.
Jerry, aye.
okay.
You do something on that 10-foot setback.
This hearing is closed.
Special care.
So Sabrina, we'll write up the order conditions, everybody get a chance to look at it. And if they think there's something missing and
So
Well,
do we
next meeting,
move to continue it again or?
We're gonna, so how was that? Can we can we,
You have 21 days to vote on the order of conditions and sign it up.
that we can vote on the project tonight as well? And
We
do,
just closed it, so.
Yeah. so,
So we would approve it and then approve the conditions after.
Can we
right?
do that, yeah,
Yeah, I
can
think
do
we
that?
can.
Oh, okay.
And say with conditions that we will vote on at a later date,
pending conditions.
pending conditions.
So I'll make a motion to approve the project. Pending the order, the conditions that we are gonna set at a later date.
Okay,
Including the amount for the bond.
yeah, that'll be on their order.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
okay. All right. I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Nor I.
Kevin, I.
Dennis, I.
Jerry, I.
and unanimous. All right. So we are
Great.
good for now. And we'll
Thank you,
get
guys.
the Conditions as quickly as we can. Hopefully the next meeting we'll have them approved.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Yep. Right.
Sorry, I did that, I was reading. It's been that.
Oh, that's not a problem.
Thinking that-
People online couldn't hear, that's not my. Okay, we do have an RDA. 100 Berkshire Road, Southwick Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing under the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Law C 131, Section 40. And Southwick Conservation Commission's Regulation and Bylaw, Chapter 182 and Chapter 450 for request for determination. The proposed location is 100 Berkshire Avenue. The proposed project is the removal of 4 trees. All work is within the 100-foot buffer zone, Lake Congamon. All right.
The picture you just sent me earlier, I didn't have that, but I have the other ones.
Mr. Chairman, since I am the petitioner, I'll be recusing myself
Mhm.
from discussion and debate on this.
Thank you, sir.
We have, on my property, we have over 80 trees. And inside the 100-foot buffer zone to the lake, we have 25 trees. I had an arborist come out after a large limb came off of one of my large oak trees in the 100-foot buffer zone. And I wanted him to give me an idea of other possible trees that were in trouble. And previously I lost 3 trees due to wind damage. So he's recommending I remove 6 trees, 4 of them are in the buffer zone, 100-foot buffer zone. And I do have pictures, but I have to take a minute to find them.
Take your time.
But Sabrina was gonna have them, but she doesn't, so
I have all the pictures except for that one that you sent me today at like 4:30.
okay.
Yeah,
RDA picture, there we go.
See it here.
You should be able to share.
First one. Okay, this is the large oak that's right on the waterfront. At the base of it, the arborist report is in your package. This is white rock. And cotton grant damage at the base of the tree. On the other side. We have significant separation between the. Not coming up?
Just,
Did you open them up or is that just thumbnails?
he sees his picture right
Oh,
there,
really?
so he's sharing. I think just go on to, the share portion. Go to Zoom. Yeah, and make that. You want to change it. Or stop share. And then go back to share. And then this one. So you want to share your screen, go ahead and hit share. And now whatever's on your screen, we're gonna see up there, hopefully. There you go.
Okay, thank you for your help. This is the other side of that tree that had the white rod at the base. The arborist said there's significant separation between the xylem, cambium, and the heartwood of the tree. And they all work together to support the weight of the tree. This is the biggest tree I have. Okay, and the concern of this one and the next one is that if they fell over, they could cause over $100,000 worth of damage on 2 docks, 3 boats, 2 lifts, and a PWC, excuse me. Okay. And this happens to be the base of the tree. You can see all the roots are exposed here.
Close to the water.
Right on the water.
Yep.
Okay, a second tree is a black birch. And you can see it's dying at the top of the tree and starting to lose its leaves on the bottom part of the tree. This is about a 10-inch diameter tree that I didn't even notice it was dying, but the arborist picked it up really fast. This is about 25-30 feet from the water. This is a, let's go back. Okay, this is the other oak that's about 10 feet from the water. And I lost a major limb here before. You can see right here, there's a significant hole in the center of this tree. And it's also a lopsided tree. It's all, here's the hole, a little more closer on the hole, okay? And he said that his recommendation on this one is it should come down, it's top heavy to the lake side. There's no branches on the opposite of the lake. So called the crown ratio of the tree is, because it's unbalanced, is a higher risk because it's 30% crown ratio and it should be a 80% crown ratio. That's top heaviness.
It could cause some damage if it came down.
Same damage as the other one, because they're both could cross 2 docks. Fine. This is probably 80 feet from the shoreline. And it's got significant pine needle damage or pine beetle damage, excuse me. And it looks like it's possibly been struck by lightning. And I thought I had a. Okay, yeah. You can see these holes here. These are the beetle holes. Believe it or not, this is this is just for reference. This is a sap sack.
No way.
Yeah,
Looks like a mud wasp nest.
yeah. Now and then they grow, and then and all of a sudden you'll find the pitch pine trees covered with sap. These break after a while. He said it's the largest one he's ever seen.
Yeah, David Stewart, can I have that?
Picture or what's?
Burn it for incense.
Oh, okay. So that's my pitch. None of the.
Intended.
Yeah, right. None of the stumps will be removed. Too valuable to the hill.
What are you gonna do with the stumps?
They're gonna stay right there,
Staying right there.
staying right there. If you want, I can plant more trees. I'll be glad to do that.
Seems like you have quite a few trees, I was gonna say, you seem like you have a lot of,
Well, you got
Trees
80
there.
trees,
Yeah.
you know, it's probably.
On an
okay.
acre lot.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Maybe some shrubbery. Button bush?
I could do something like that. I also have an erosion problem because of the wave action.
Oh, then you definitely want,
Yeah,
so you definitely want something there.
so I have to do something for erosion.
Yeah, well,
I think it looks pretty good.
Make a motion, are you looking for a motion?
no, I'm looking for motion, yes.
Find it negative.
I'll second. All in favor?
No matter what.
Chris, I.
Kevin, I.
Dennis, aye.
Jerry, I.
Okay. Yeah, it passes.
I get that.
No signature page for that one?
No. Okay, okay, sorry. So that will be for next time.
That one here. No,
Yeah, there you go.
all righty. Next up, we have an RDA for 15 Depot Street. Here it is. The Southern Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing under the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Law, C 131, Section 40 of the Southern Conservation Commission Regulations and Bylaw, Chapter 182, and Chapter 450 for request for determination. The project location is 15 Depot Street. The proposed is for the demolition of a building within the riverfront zone of 100-foot buffer zone. Good afternoon, welcome.
So, I first want to thank Sabrina and John Goddard for helping me through this process.
Yes, say your name for the record, just for the record.
Oh, Russ Anderson, 28 Davis Road, representing the town, for the town building.
Thank you, Russ.
So I do want to thank Sabrina and John for helping me through this process. This was something that Carl had championed when I took on the facilities management for the temporarily. So we did due diligence on the building. This is what you might remember as the old fire association building. To try to put a new roof on, try to give some life into it, and it got cost prohibitive. So our goal is to raise it to a slab. It's right now built on an existing slab.
Okay,
So we want to raise it down to the slab, and then with the future plan someday coming back to put some sort of a prefab garage or building of some kind for storage, dry storage on it.
okay. We appreciate you coming in.
I learned a lot doing.
Yeah, it's a process, right?
But I don't, you have questions or, you know, what the process is or how we.
I mean, it's, to me, it seems pretty simplistic. And you're,
Yeah.
you know, just maybe explain how you're gonna demolish it. What are you gonna use for?
So, right now, Crestview is the one that got the bid. Their goal was to pull everything towards the pavement.
Okay,
We would secure I think there's one drainage ditch, one catch basin cover there. We'll secure that, cover that.
Right here.
mhm,
Be bringing in a couple dumpsters and pull everything, fill the dumpsters on the pavement and clean up and off of the pavement.
Yep.
Try not to disturb, anything of that fence. There's a fence there that's, I don't know, boy, it's 5, maybe 10 feet. Right, where's the property line and one behind it.
okay,
So we're trying to do everything this side of that fence, obviously.
that'll be excellent.
Any silt fences or anything on that same line
Right now,
proposed?
yes, we proposed, forgive me, what a silt fence, and then the other thing was the tube, like the
It's
sock,
the
right?
Wattle.
Wattles?
Wattles.
So it says approximate location of silt fence to be installed, and it's this blue dotted line right here.
All along, yeah.
Mhm. I mean, it shouldn't take longer than a day. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, as long as they got everything coordinated.
I didn't even see that blue thing.
Are you
Thank you.
are you
I
colorblind?
just did.
Is there a matter between
Catch
what
it.
you use, the wattle or the silt fence or the
Um,
contractors?
Well, it's gonna be probably hard to install silk fence.
That's what our
Protect
concern
them
is.
in, So the log would probably be easier.
just to keep
Maybe
the
I'll
basic,
Demo too, the silt fence will get laid down. and
just
go
to
out
keep the
with
debris out.
Yeah,
You know,
Whatever you need.
This is, yeah, silt sock and catch basin. I have a question.
Mhm.
And so you're getting rid of the utilities above ground and below ground?
So currently there's LG gas that comes down that road. However, we do have to double check. There's a meter there, but I believe we was shut off years ago out at the street. And I need to confirm the power because they do not believe power is overhead anymore. We didn't, they will be eliminated.
As you said, surgically done. And your narrative, or in
Mhm.
John's narrative.
My narrative, yeah, go ahead.
Crafted
But I'm
specifically.
just wondering what you guys mean by surgically.
We don't necessarily know what's there,
Okay,
so, you know, because there could be water coming down that as well. We just want to make sure that we're taking care of the situation, not leaving meters up and things like that, so. But down the road, maybe it's cut off 20 feet back, 50 feet back. You know, we capped, so someday something else had to be used, at least the runs are there.
What's it made of?
Block, Centerville.
Simple.
Yeah, it was all asbestos abated probably 3 years ago now. And not raccoon abated yet.
Oh, so you're ruining habitat.
No, They moved out for the winter.
Okay. All right, anybody have any other questions or concerns, or
Looks good.
take a motion, if anybody's ready?
I'll move to accept the project,
Second that.
Okay,
Find it
wait,
find it negative,
find it negative, excuse me.
right?
Six.
No, I know, so we're gonna vote now.
Oh, right, yes.
Chris Pratt, yeah,
Norm, I.
Dennis, I.
Jerry, I.
okay,
Is there any timeline that can start? Is there? a
so I
buffer time?
need to write it up and
Okay.
they need to sign it and then they'll give you the actual.
The contractor needs that to do their
Start
thing.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, paperwork on that.
What?
You paperwork to sign.
No, do it ahead of time.
That's. Forms, extra
I
piece of
think that's for
paper.
your folder.
Okay. They're under my folder now. All right, we're gonna move on to some new business. We have a request for an order of conditions extension Saddle Mountain Road. We did hear a little bit about this last time, last meeting. It is up to us to grant. Mark Stinson said that we could do this, even though the original 3 years is up and it's been now outdated.
Yeah.
So we can go and extend the original order of conditions. Which I don't see a reason not to. I mean, the project is, as we heard last meeting, pretty much done. Some things need to be buttoned up. Be good to get it done quickly as possible, I think, before the ground freezes or winter comes.
How long would we extend it for?
We can extend it for 3 more years. It's,
Okay.
you know, it's, and I mean. Well, you can, we can,
doesn't mean-
it doesn't mean you have to take 3 years.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Just in case. so
You
it
just had a
doesn't happen
question.
again.
I mean. Why don't you come on up and just. Give us your name again and we can have a discussion just to.
Sure.
My name is Dan Dume. I'm the owner of the property.
Okay, so I mean, would you like?
Sure.
Just a year? It's
Just a
fine.
year is fine.
Okay,
Another extension.
so that's your recommendation, will be extending it a year?
A year from August 19th.
We could do it from today, I believe. I'll give them a full year till today,
That would be good.
okay? I'll make the motion, extend his order of conditions for another year, till
Second.
October 7th. 2025, okay,
Thank you. Okay.
Aye.
Chris, I,
Norm, I.
Dennis, I.
Jerry, I.
all right, you're good,
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
no problem.
This will be ready for you like in a day or so.
Okay.
You guys can decide.
I see you. There's an item under old business for discussion of amendments. Probably more appropriate to wait till the next meeting for that.
Okay,
That's okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Still working.
I'll cross it off, I won't mention
Okay. Make your meeting go. good.
it. Appreciate that,
Sure. Okay. See you
have a good night,
Thank
yeah.
in a couple weeks.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. Next. Okay, we have a request for a certificate of compliance for 115 Fred Jackson Road.
We're gonna have to table that till next meeting.
Not seeing at tables. All right, a request for your certificate of compliance, 38 Beach Road. Come on up, give us your name and address. I'm assuming it's 38 Beach Road, but
Well,
part of
it
it.
was, and now
Okay,
it's Deborah Thompson,
all right,
38 Beach Road is what I'm requesting.
okay,
Before.
all right. So everything is finished. Anybody go out to check?
Yeah, I went out to check. I was actually out there with Brian,
Okay.
Brennan. And he said the house is built to plan. And so the photos right now are just the inspection, so I'm basically at the road facing the house, and beyond the house is the lake. And it's the other side. Again, beyond the house is the lake. And here is the stairway going down to the lake. Everything looks stable. There's some previous pavers right there. The vegetation all along the shoreline up here looks good.
That was all done according to an architect's blueprints that we got a permit for.
Mhm.
I think it was David Poole or something like that. I don't know. You should have it at, but it was all done through that.
It's nice to me.
And would
We don't
recommend,
like that, but he said it had to be. Drainage had to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we could plant grass, cause you can't. Have fertilizer, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So
Right.
that's what we do.
I'd rather have that. Geese don't like it as much either, so.
Yeah, you can't walk on it.
Oh, just,
Certain shoes, and then if you put a table there that has legs, it's
Right.
kind of, but it was
Yeah.
what they said we had to do, so we did it.
okay.
um,
It's that goose poop, so. I have goose poop at my house.
Yeah.
That's all we, eat, but goose poop. All right, so I will. Make a motion to give a certificate of compliance for 38. Oh, 32 Beach Road,
38.
okay. 38, 32 is next, all right,
I'll second that.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Chris, aye,
Norm, I.
Kevin, I.
Dennis, I.
Jerry, I.
Thank you.
we're good.
So this will be ready. Do you want
I
it
was
to be
to pick it up,
mailed? You wanna pick it up?
and you had our numbers,
Yeah,
and then whenever you're done
okay,
typing it or whatever it is,
yeah,
then we'll come pick it up.
awesome.
Is that okay?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
All right. One last thing to sweat about?
We didn't know we had to do this,
Yeah,
and we should have already done it long
should have
ago.
happened right after you're done with the
When we
project.
thought the building, inspector came out and said, you have your, occupancy permit, we
Yeah,
just
well, it's
assumed.
different. One's
I
for-
know now,
yeah,
but I did not know that.
I know. All right, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
There we go. All right. It's not the first time or the last time that'll happen.
It's true.
Unfortunately. Okay, the next one is for 32 Beach Road. We have a certificate of compliance requests for 32 Beach Road.
I'm sharing that. I don't know if anybody's on, no one's on that for this. Is anyone in the room?
Anybody want
I'm shy.
to? Okay, you can stay there if you want. You don't have to come all the way up.
Here to listen.
Okay,
Have anything to add?
okay.
Yeah, they're the neighbors.
I know who they are.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they have anything to say, so I assume. You can say it if you want, when you want.
With the,
All right,
the decision will be regarding that, if it's going to be tabled, if you've heard anything regarding that.
No, I haven't. So, we got a request for certificate of compliance a few weeks back, for this, and it's basically a retaining wall that they got, order of conditions for. And, they submitted their, WPA 8A form. But they didn't submit this statement saying, the project was done according to the plan or whatnot, so I had asked for that. it turns out that the builder who built the wall had passed away. And even Kyle and Buildings didn't get a sign off on it. So I contacted their attorney earlier last week asking if there are any updates on what was going on, and she said she would get back to me. I haven't gotten any updates from them, so I guess we could table this.
Did they have somebody apply the notice of intent apply for it? Is that done by themselves or was that done through?
Well, it's
It
not
was-
their project. You're looking to buy the property, correct?
We're under
You're-
contract to purchase.
Right.
We had to extend the closing date. It was supposed to be September
They
They applied
27th.
for it.
I don't know, Gino did the work. You remember the big walls?
Oh.
Well, the cannons. and all.
Thank you. Everybody knows the canon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are.
So that's the,
By the way, very nice walls.
they're
Their neighbor.
large, very large.
Yeah,
ones.
I
Yeah,
remember that.
Yeah.
You're next door?
so I figured we should get that statement,
Mhm.
because they are large walls. But
So that was in the order of conditions. We need to have a sign off from.
it's in the request, so you have the request for, a certificate of compliance, and if your plan has been signed off by an engineer, you technically need that statement with your request. That's why I told Kevin, hold up, I need that statement.
I thought that would just be from whoever filed the, the consultant.
It could be from the consultant if they're, it gives
I
a
don't think
list
there was a
of,
consultant for that one, was there?
No, there wasn't.
no. I know it was Sage, out in Westfield was the engineering thing, or they wrote up the plan. So.
Maybe Sage could get you.
Yeah, and that's what I asked the attorney, I'm like, could you contact them? And I think Kyle also is asking them as well. To get something.
Could we say tonight that we could grant the certificate pending the engineer's
Does it look,
paper? That way
been out
it
there, you
can,
looked at it, it looks fine.
I have not been out there, I heard it doesn't look fine.
They Put all the
No.
drainage.
Do you have
it's a
any
big
pictures of
project.
it? by any
No, I
chance?
haven't been out there,
Okay.
and. I've been waiting for that statement
Okay.
to. go-
Is this holding up the closing? Is that what the?
We would rather not move forward with the purchase if there's major issues with the wall and patio.
okay, Yeah,
Probably
but-
should have
yeah.
that, and you're
We're concerned.
in your best interest.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of. Put the brakes on this, just because it seems.
Cause we could look
really
at it, and
thorough.
look fine, and it could be something that we're not
Yeah,
seeing.
something that wasn't
Exactly, I
installed.
don't
Come
know
back to
I don't know
find
what.
us. There's a lot of drainage and stuff behind.
well, there
it.
should have been a lot of drainage behind it, because it's such a tall wall.
Just like the one we saw previously at 38, they had all of
Bow.
that impervious area,
Um,
and that's
Um,
drainage.
right,
That's
so-
why I wanted the.
all right, so we will,
Best interest to have something from an engineer.
we'll wait and get something from the engineer
Yeah,
and see that as a
if it was
done
built
correctly.
in.
built the plan.
How long will it take?
Well,
I don't know,
she's asked for a
I've asked for it.
letter, so we'll have to wait and find out. Okay. We shall move on.
Is there a motion? Thank you.
Well, we can make a motion to not accept or grant one at this time, but either way, we're not
Could
granting
you
one at
ask
this
the
time.
seller to get on that too, or if they wanna sell
We've
it?
been waiting for them to do what they need to do to get it. They get the title corrected
All
and
right, okay,
make
so
sure there's
you're-
no marks on the title. We
Mhm.
have clear title and functioning walls, not functioning, but walls and patio that are gonna last us a few years.
Right,
The couple
I think that'd be
weeks, we'll have
expensive to
everything.
redo those.
Yeah, I wanna redo them.
That's, yeah,
And sorry, just for the record, could you just say your name and address?
Suzanne Gravel.
Address.
Oh, address,
Yeah.
34 Beach Road.
Okay, great, thank you.
all right. Okay, I'll take a motion to not accept, continue,
Table it?
we can table it, yeah. Second,
Second.
all in favor? Chris, I.
No,
Dennis, I.
Jerry, I.
Okay, so we have another issue here on no outfall at Baker Shore and South Pond, Griffin Road, the town of Suffield installed outfall on private property in Southwick with Concom, within Concom jurisdiction. Legal ownership and maintenance plan is to be investigated.
Yeah,
I think a lot of us went out.
yeah, you're
This-
familiar. This is the outfall
yeah.
right here. Where we're at, was Nancy Drury's residence over to the right. And right, this is that rock pile where the water eventually flows from right here down into the water. So we went on a site visit and I was told by the selectman of Suffield that he was sure that was in Suffield. They did a survey, he made sure that it was not in Southwick, but from the last survey that we saw, this marker right here is the state marker, so it's in Southwick. It's not on town property, it's on private property, and so Randy is now working with, I think, legal to identify who's going to own it and maintain it. And then once we
Oh.
get that story of the maintenance, he wants.
I wanna know if it's
permission.
legal or not. I don't think it's
DEP's
legal.
gotta be notified, for sure.
Drains right into
The
the
other
water.
thing is that like, how long ago has done this? This isn't meeting probably like the new stormwater standards and you're just dumping like. You know, is there any type of water quality unit or something like that
Filtrator.
that's making sure that the water, it's road runoff, that it's clean
Right,
Exactly.
into the lake, like. If they have to, they can put infiltrators or do something else with the water too.
right.
Like who installed that? Do we know?
Town of Suffield,
Town stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, you have to,
Do you have a catch basin like?
there's a catch basin, but I don't know what it has.
Does it have the, yeah, that's what I mean.
Separation.
It's got a pipe going into the lake.
probably some trap
Well,
rock.
like,
I think just,
Even if
yeah,
it has a sump, it still doesn't, the sumps collect. Like sand and
Silt and
sediment, it
sediment, right.
doesn't. if
No
there's
oils, no,
oil or
that's gonna
anything
flow
like
right out
that,
of the
town.
It's going
Right out.
right into the lake.
yeah,
Salt from runoff.
we were there.
Yep.
There was some other topic, but
It was raining pretty good.
there was question about
Blowing.
the location of the monument too.
Yeah, that's all set now, I believe that's.
So that
been settled.
monument
That got squared
Is the
away.
state line?
Yeah. It is the state line.
Officially? Okay.
Yeah.
Officially,
So that's the
Official.
official spot for it.
okay.
Well, that was according to their surveyor. Randy's gonna investigate it a little more, right? Cause I've seen surveyor.
That's what
Oh, I
I
thought
thought,
it
that's
was-
what I mean, yeah.
Okay, I thought it was determined and signed off on already,
We'll
but,
go back to the jog again.
right, here we go.
Jeez,
No.
that only went back to the 1700s.
Please tell us, no, I'm kidding. Please ready to jump in.
Drunken
Historians.
surveyors.
Historians.
Okay. All right.
So, that, good points. I didn't even think of contacting, Mark Stinson, so I'll let him know that
Yeah.
this is happening and he wants to
We
investigate.
wanna know who owns it and who maintains it.
So,
Well,
Ra-
they're
yeah,
gonna figure
Randy's,
that out, but I
Randy's
think-
trying to figure it out because, well, it's not on town-owned land, it's on private land and Suffield did it, so.
Yeah.
He's trying to figure that out, and when he gets like a clear answer and a maintenance plan, he wanted you guys to review it, see what you had to say about that.
Yeah.
What happens if you just block it off? I mean,
And then it
I
just goes
think
into
what-
the beach.
stuff's gonna end up
You
there
would
anyhow.
get, you would get erosion on the shoreline like
On
we
the
have in
sand.
With
ours.
all that
It
sand.
was probably done to prevent that.
Yeah, I
Right,
think that's why they did
That's a
it.
little association beach, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so.
You know, the
Is
rainy
that
day.
the only
we were
catch
there.
it? Does it collect any water up? Hill from, is there multiple pipes or is it just that one catch basin with one pipe?
Kind of a steep hill.
It's a very steep hill down
That's
to
the
that.
bottom of it.
That's a good question, though. There are more
Well,
catch
as I'm
basins
saying,
than just that.
that-
one.
is it,
It's the only one I remember seeing out there.
And we don't have. a
well, you
plan
could
for
look in there and see if there's any other pipes coming up the hill. That's what I'm saying.
it. And it's just private land.
It's a
you
very
have to have an
steep hill
easement
that
on
comes
it.
down to this flat
yeah.
area and
I
then.
would think if there
I
were
think
any,
this
it would just,
goes
it would
right from there
overflow
to
that
that.
basin if there were any upgrade from there.
Wouldn't they have to have an easement for the property owner to be able to do that?
Don't know whether they got that or not,
Yeah.
but the property owner didn't own it at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
This is
It's a-
kind of a
Right, so
gray
I think-
area.
We get information from Mark. Ask Mark about,
is
is it legal? Which I don't think it is. And
That'd be good.
spent a lot of money of, keeping stormwater out of the lake.
right.
So
How long ago do you think that was installed?
it looks pretty new. Yeah. Looks like maybe a year or two.
Yeah, the riprap looked pretty new.
Yeah.
On the
It
shore
looks so
there.
nice.
Yeah, the pipe and everything, so.
Mhm.
It was there when we were there.
Cause
It
that,
was,
yeah,
yeah.
that was where they were gonna put the delimitation.
Right, there was
for her
that issue
dock.
with the dock and the place.
That's right,
and
they were gonna
whatnot.
use that as a marker.
That's why we were there, what, this was there when we were there.
Correct. Yeah, it was.
That didn't happen afterwards.
All right.
Yeah.
But when I saw it, I'm like, that doesn't look right.
No, this is.
But it was still like questionable area
Where-
because of the monument, the date.
Yeah, they were still questioning
So
on
we really couldn't say anything about it because we didn't know.
We're under the assumption that Connecticut wouldn't put drainage in Massachusetts, so.
and they assured me
It's
that,
all
it-
the same
they
water.
assured me it wasn't in Massachusetts. They
There's
said
no
they
line in the
didn't
water.
want to deal with us.
So, I don't know.
So they had their surveyors do it, but Randy wants to check to make sure, is that?
So I think Randy is basically going off the last survey that we had gotten, from, it was the state of Connecticut, or state of Mass, one of those.
It was the state of Connecticut
State of Connecticut did,
surveyor.
they went and they surveyed it, and they
Okay.
said indeed this 1906 is the state line marker.
Okay,
Is
is that not enough, or are we questioning?
Well, supposedly, I was told that Massachusetts guy was gonna come and do the same survey.
Oh,
So
I don't
he
think
agreed, but.
yeah, I don't think that's happening now that,
Are we
Um,
worried that it
this-
might be different?
Well.
The boundary.
Never gonna agree on.
Boundary atlas showing all the
Yeah.
1906 markers.
Well, that's 1906, so.
Yeah, well, definitely is 1906.
At least it's the 20th century.
Says it on
Yeah.
the sign. Yeah.
All right.
Just a point of sad information on this related subject because of all of the conflict between the neighbors. And the other things that are going on there, the Jory family sold their house. Oh, it didn't, yeah, too bad. Wow.
Up living on the lake.
I know.
Okay, we'll move on. We request from LMC to resolve dock situation at 129 North Lake Ave. Three docks exceeds over the 600 square foot maximum surface area. Three docks here, total 1,800 square feet.
I'll be speaking for LMC on this one. Okay, we have 129 North Avenue Lake. It's on North Pond. The gray area here is North Pond. Okay, this house here on lot number 21 is 129 owned by Despard. They also own lot 22 next door. And then the third house over is the Harris family. Lot 23.1. Lot 47, which is down below those two parcels, also belongs to the Harris family. On our system, GIS system, it says there's no declaration of who owns it, but I went to the assessor's office. And they assured me that this lot 47 is owned by the Harris family. The three docks in concern here are circled. Okay, the first one to the right is over 700 square feet. That's okay, and it starts on the Despard's property, but actually finishes on the Harris property. The lot,
Is that Lily Way? Is that Lily Drive? Is that Harris property or is that unknown property?
Lily Drive is ignored as far as the best I know of ownership. It's effectively, they don't own it, but nobody ever complains about it. It's very narrow and the city assessor says that it's just a sandy shoreline. Okay. The middle one is 300 square foot and it is believed to be owned by the Despards.
So we've cut off a little bit, maybe scroll down, so you can see the
Yeah.
image. There you go, thank you.
Okay. Then the third dock is another 700 square foot dock. And it's on the Harris property. But it's believed to be owned by Desparks. Okay. Now, the limit for any dock on any property is 600 square feet. So they violate the 600 square foot. They have only 1,800 square foot in total. Okay. Here is an aerial view of it. You can see that. So here's, you can see the house from the Despard house. And you got the most southerly dock, most northerly dock, middle dock, and the south dock, and then below that, there's another dock, which I believe is on Harris property, but I cannot tell you for sure. All right. So this is from August of 22, when I was taking pictures to verify docks and boats, okay, and it doesn't encompass the whole property. But the big house here is Despard. And the dock that was to the far right is not on the screen. Okay, but you got the middle dock and the left-hand docks on the left. All this development off the shoreline, including the wall, is owned by Harris, but developed by Despard. How that happened, I do not know. Okay, this is the LPP form submitted for this year by the Despard family. They submitted for 2 docks and 3 boats, but they did not put a layout sheet. Because the docks are greater than 600 square feet, because there's no layout sheet, no stickers should have been submitted, been issued, but they were. Okay. Here is the LPP sheet for the Harris family. 1 dock, no layout sheet. Again, should not have been, stickers should not have been submitted or given to them. Now, this is an old problem, okay? It goes back at least a decade. The Despard family applied for a Chapter 91 license in 2016. And next is the letter the state sent back to Despard, basically saying, and I'll read this because you can't see it. We understand you have installed and presently maintain 3 separate docks with a combined footprint of roughly 1,800 square feet, significantly more than the 600 square feet allowed by the simplified license requirements. Moreover, the property lines drawn on your license plan application do not appear to comport. Not sure if that's correct, but that's what it says. With the boundaries depicted on publicly available tax assessors maps for the town of Southwick. In short, the department is unclear whether you own the subject property. And on the second page, it's saying that if they want to reduce the 600 to 600 square feet maximum, they'll basically allow them to have 1 dock. Okay. And then it says further down, it says if you have 60 days to submit the additional information we have requested. And it says, if you fail to submit the additional information within the time frame above, your application will be denied and characterized as withdrawn. So when I did the Chapter 91 licensing issue earlier this year, I asked the state to give me the Chapter 91 licenses, and they ended up sending me every one in the state that they had ever issued. Wow. The last one on this page happens to be the Despard one from 2016. And you can see it's over in the far right, the right-hand column is the status column, and that's the identification withdrawn. So they do not have a Chapter 91 license. They would not qualify for a Chapter 91 license. These are permanent docks. They do not come out. Okay. So LMC has asked Conservation Commission as the enforcement agent of the LPP program, or one of the enforcement agencies, to please take care of this. In my opinion, we have issues with both families. And any action we take has to be to both families, because the Desparts don't own the property. And the docks that are on Harris property exceed 600 square feet. So I said, we've been carrying this on LMC for years. And we fight about it at least once a year, we fight about it.
Well, we were never sure who owned the property because people were just putting docks down there.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like no man's land.
yeah. Well, according to Sue Dore in the assessor's office, Harris owns the property.
Yeah, can we get that in writing?
I'm sure we could.
Because, you know, before that's a big question, who actually owns all
Well,
that
this
property.
is very similar to what happened with the Drury property. We made it, we decided what we did and looked the state lines, we really weren't, we assumed that marker was it, and we kind of made our assumption on that this year, and before we really knew anything, really what we were.
Yeah, we don't wanna do that again.
No,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, we said, all right, well,
Yeah.
this is, we're gonna assume this is state line, and really apparently now what we assumed is
The
wrong.
assessor's map show that it's not their property.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and the Desparts did develop that in front, so we don't know if maybe they bought that
Yeah.
or they're leasing it or something else.
yeah,
Just
figure out who owns what and.
True.
Yeah.
And I think it would go back to the DEP because. What the LPP can do is just not issue
right,
stickers this year, saying you don't qualify for. It. And then it would have to go to the DEP for enforcement for chapter 91.
Regardless of what the case is, would those docks have to be pulled out by December 1st? Because I think
Well, technically they're supposed to, but they've never applied for an extension for over the winter.
were they
Wow.
given special consideration, some sort of waiver for that? At any time?
Not that I'm aware of.
Because I know some people did, and with the only stipulation being they had to put lights on it. So it wouldn't get run into by
Yeah,
a snowmobile or whatever.
Hey,
Yeah, there was another dock, the Pratt dock that was down there.
Right.
It's
that's
that
two
still
houses
there?
away.
Think that they got the consideration or something, or
Mm,
hardship,
no, they were
too hard to
in
take
in
out or something?
violation too.
So what do we do in that? Well, there's two issues here. There's
I mean,
one,
that
who
can't
owns
be
it?
removed, so,
Well,
I
that's
mean, those are set.
three issues here. If there's
They're,
more than, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
everybody that's on Lily Way that. would
I
have to
can't
be-
see how they can be removed by December 1st. I mean, you'd have to have cranes down there to pull
Yeah,
those things out.
Yeah, they're
They're
not
over
temporary
frame.
docks, they have to be licensed through the state.
they're just setting them up, right?
No, they're not set in the bucket. I believe they're
Drill down.
drilled down in.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ah.
yeah, they're like piers.
There's-
You can't miss them. If you go into North Pond, they're on the
Yeah,
left,
I know where they are.
just as you're getting into the bigger section.
Yeah.
And they all uniform. They look the same with all the
Got the
same
covers on,
decorations and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's pretty permanent. I think the prior discussion was that because it was impossible to move them, that they had to apply for the bigger license of not.
Chapter
renewing.
91.
I think that's when they went in for the chapter 91.
Because it's an exception in itself, the way it was built and
Right.
everything. How that got approved, I don't know. But you know, they've been there like that and they.
And Harris has got one
they
dock,
can't
is that
remove it,
over
so
the
they have to
limit
apply
for the,
91 or whatever.
that they got a permit for?
Well, the trouble is, we don't know for which dock the Harris submitted.
Cause there's no.
There's no picture.
There's no plan that's
plan.
supposed to be,
Have to have that to
Right.
figure out.
right.
There's a lot of work to do on these
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah, there's some unanswered issues.
All right.
But I mean, I think flag them for next year's application
Oh, yeah,
and, you know,
they're not gonna get stickers.
yeah, deny the request for stickers.
Well,
Because of the two,
And if Harris comes in and says they just have one dock that actually does conform, we didn't want to show proof that they actually
Right.
own that property that it's on.
right?
Should be up to them to provide that,
Yeah, and I mean, if
well,
because they have done that on the abandoned road, were you part of that when they did take part of that Lily Way? Levesque went out there and there's this thing called the abandoned road statute and they
Derelict.
added the property
Yeah,
to
I
the,
mean, part of this Lily Way is actually underwater
yeah,
as you go along
It
the
is,
the
yeah.
lake shore, so it's not really used by anyone.
it's not a road, no.
Not a road.
But it is property on the
Right.
waterfront. And there is a way to resolve it. These people could get that. But what
Right.
the, I think it's called abandoned road statute that,
Yeah. I wish that whole road would get just resolved and taken care of because
Yeah,
it
get
has
that
been
fine.
an issue more than one time.
So why don't we get something from the assessor that says who owns the property? And then immediately send a letter to whoever the owner is.
Mhm.
Uh, Start the ball rolling now, because if we wait till April, then we'll be another year
Right.
before we get it resolved.
That's a good idea, get it going now.
Okay, so I'll take the action to.
All right. And
get the
simplified,
assessor again.
chapter 91 license probably is not the way to go. Not the simplified version anyway.
Right.
So what should the letter say? That they need to. That they
Determine
want,
ownership
Or determine ownership, yeah.
Yeah,
who owns which one
yeah.
and whose land is it on?
but isn't that what the visit to the assessors is to determine?
The
owner?
land ownership.
And then the letter would be who owns what dog?
Letter to
You
the
can- you
owner.
can write it up for 'em.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
just-
think the
I'm
assessor is
asking
gonna
It'll be the
provide
letter
us.
to the owner of the property.
I don't think the assessor is gonna be able to provide us with the information we're looking for. So the owner of the property is gonna be incumbent upon him to prove that he owns that, whatever it takes to do that, for him to prove that to us, then prove it to us.
So
So I don't think the assessors are gonna be able to provide that. to
Well,
us.
she said she knows the property.
Yeah, I've heard,
What
I've
is
been
gonna
through
be
this
the-
several times.
I know.
So,
What is gonna be the issue for them getting a permit, other than the square footage is too much, cause we've given. Waivers or whatever for people to leave their docks in permanent hardships.
Mm.
Right.
Right.
Well, this
So,
would definitely come under that
Yeah.
hardship, but as far as the
The square
amount of
footage is
square
the-
footage
is
would be the
issue
bigger
then.
issue.
yeah,
That's the primary.
so all the other ones we have hardships for are always under 600 square feet.
Yeah, they're just normal.
So on one
50-day
property
capacity.
cumulatively, you can only have 600 square feet.
That's
No
correct.
matter how many, you could have 3 little ones or 1 big one, as long as it didn't exceed 600 square feet.
cumulative, that's how it works, so.
I believe so.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can't have 3 600 footers on one property.
All right, okay. Move on to
Plan.
74 College Highway, proposed CPC project for South Lake Historic Society. Acquire the property, the Conservation Commission will just gonna hold this conservation restriction. We're gonna listen to Mr. Hamburg tonight, give a speech. You've heard it a couple times already.
Oh, I'm not giving the
Well, you
same
can just give
speech.
us our, we don't need that one.
That's all right. Lee Hamburg,
Yeah.
48 South Long Yard Road. We are looking for the Conservation Commission to hold a conservation restriction on 74 College Highway. We do plan on acquiring title and we will try to through the CPA program acquire the difference between industrial zoned land and conservation zone land as a means of helping to pay for the property. So what's your thoughts? Have you held conservation restrictions before?
We have some,
Yeah,
Oh, fine.
there's,
well, that's not through us,
No,
that's the state.
That's the
The state holds that.
But I don't think that. You're not looking for any money from conservation, and you're not looking to give us any money, right?
We're not looking to give or take.
So it'd be,
But
all we have to do is monitor it, that you're not gonna, we
that,
have to
that,
write up the conservation restriction. We do have a couple of them
Templates,
in place that
we could look
we've
at
done.
this
And
boilerplate kind of thing.
now,
boilerplate.
if it's not done through the state, it's only good for 15 years, is that what the maximum conservation restriction is? I think
It has to be,
first started.
it has to be, I think, in perpetuity if we use any
CPC funding.
CPC funds.
so we would have to run that through the state, because you can't have a CR in
You
perpetuity.
have to have a CR approved by.
Oh, yeah, it has to be. approved by the state.
Yes,
So with Wally Park, they did that differently. they didn't have to have, they had other language that they put in there, so they didn't need a CR.
Well. Probably the CR is the way to go.
All right,
okay?
well, that's fine with me.
Where is
If
this?
anybody's got any objections.
74
Down at the Morehouse,
The what?
the Morehouse,
Oh, yeah,
tobacco barn.
yeah, okay.
Right behind there, that whole big field behind.
Right, right.
So
There's-
you're gonna build the row house over there?
No, that's,
It's owned for it, I need.
we're not going down that road. There's
that would raise the price then.
there's 10.52 acres on the parcel.
Okay.
And as most of you may know, there had been an approved plan for a marijuana grow facility up to 15,000 square feet built on the parcel. And because it is IR and because that project is not going forward, I mean, just look at the economics today of, marijuana grow. Everyone can grow marijuana.
Mhm.
The bottom line is, that's not gonna happen. And we don't know who would be potentially purchasing it down the road and what they would want to put in. And they could put in just about anything from A to Z with special permit from the planning board on at least, we're estimating 5 acres of the land. And a great deal of the land directly behind our museum is probably some of the drier land, so if nothing else, they could put maybe mini storage warehouses or maybe a nice commercial solar field would look good there.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, so our goal is to conserve the land and provide access. And
Those things would be excluded from the CR, they would be prohibited to any kind of.
we could be very flexible in that.
But you would wanna leave it flexible enough to put parking or a building or. something
We would be
historical.
very careful about that. It might involve perhaps special event parking in some sections,
Mhm.
potentially.
So you'd have to write something into the CR that would,
We'd have to cover our bases thoughtfully and,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be back and forth anyways, just to make sure that, when it's done, it's something that we can all live with and that by having it locally controlled, that we'll be able to achieve, our goal of conservation and, retaining a heritage landscape.
I think it might be a good idea to have a lawyer involved with the CR to make sure that it's done.
I've never written one, and I don't know anybody else
We
that
haven't
has.
written them and they've,
Well, I haven't personally.
we haven't, but the commission had previously, they'd run into problems because they wrote CRs that weren't really legal.
So I think that would be the way to go, Lee. I mean,
Yeah,
we can certainly okay that tonight to
okay.
happen. But as far as us crafting it, I think that's not a good idea.
If you wanna, rough one out with a legal
Well,
template,
we want to know
fine.
things that you
Yeah.
might need to have happen on that property so that we can write that in and make sure we're including everything that you want this property to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll make sure we get that input from you so
Okay,
that we can get that included into our document,
But when you do it, it's okay to do it,
right?
if you do it.
Not like
That's
he's
right.
saying the event parking or, things like that.
And this is all
Delineate an
contingent
area.
upon you actually purchasing that land?
yes,
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to hold the CR, to be crafted along with Historical
Input.
Society to, on
74 College Highway.
74 College Highway, thank you,
Question.
yes.
Can we do that before actual ownership of property is established?
Start
We can-
crafting.
we
it,
can
but
start
we Probably
crafting.
wouldn't wanna
Yeah.
spend money on a lawyer until we know for sure that
Right.
it's gonna.
Okay. Just wanna,
It has to go through town meeting,
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Town meeting is first.
right? So
okay. Just wanted to ask the question,
just, he's just asking for permission for us to hold it
to craft one in the
Yeah.
event.
in case
Right.
it goes through.
Okay.
I'll second your motion.
Okay, all in favor?
But I,
Chris, I.
nor I.
Kevin, I.
Dennis, I.
Jerry, I.
Okay.
Thank you.
Step three, or whatever step it is.
One of many.
Oh, yeah, one of many, exactly.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night. Okay, we have a request for certificate of compliance for 3 South Loomis.
All right.
Hi, Ryan.
Oh, can I ask a question? Did you cover Nicholson Hill already today?
Not yet.
No.
Okay, because we were late.
Oh, okay,
I think it's like right,
Next.
it's next, actually.
yeah,
There's agendas on the table if you want.
Oh.
but yeah, you need it now.
Yeah. I'll sign in like.
Yeah. That'd be great. Okay,
All right, for the record, Ryan Elson from R. Levesque Associates again. This was a notice of intent for a septic repair upgrade of front yard. This single family home. Work was in the buffer zone. Well was located back here. There was an isolated wetland in the backyard, so that had jurisdictional zone also. 100-foot buffer is located right here, so a small portion of the septic was within the buffer, but the remaining site grading, repair of the deck, the driveway was all within the buffer zone. As part of the NOI filing, when we were out there delineating, we found that it looked like over the years gravel had been pushed off the end of the driveway into the wetland. So we say volunteered, but took it upon ourselves to restore that area as part of the NOI. Mark's Property Services did the work, septic is installed, site is final graded, seeded, grass has come up. There was some back and forth on the plants that were installed in that restoration area. Those have been corrected with what was shown on the plan. I talked with Mark and he verified that he did scrape all the gravel out of that area. He did bring in topsoil. I did some soil borings and underlying substrate is marginal. It's not pristine, but I don't know what was truly there beforehand. But all the debris is gone. It's stable and the plants are in, so.
So when you said topsoil, what,
Mhm.
do you know what type of
Looks
topsoil?
like a loam. Like a-
Cause it said to use 12 inches of organic soil inlay to achieve final grade.
Hmm.
And when I went out there, it kind of just looked like gravelly soil. It didn't look like he scooped any of the soil out and replaced it with organics. Do you know so I know there's, was it 3 bushes and 1 red maple?
Yes.
That's right there. Bushes are the ilex, I forgot,
winterberry.
but those are fine. But as far as the grass area, do you know what seed mix was used over there?
It's supposed to be a conservation seed mix.
Okay.
Said he put it down. I don't have any proof of that, but it
I
looks
did see
like,
something growing.
yeah.
Andy went down and he took some pictures for me. I think my concern with this is that the soils weren't treated and that it's
Hmm.
just gonna be lawn. It's not gonna end up being a restored wetland. That's my concern.
Right.
And that's why I said I don't recommend issuing a certificate at this point, just because of the soils.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I agree. I wish I was in tune with when they were doing that and I could have stopped by and maybe help direct it, but it's in now. They'd have to rip it all up to redo it. Saying that they shouldn't, but essentially would be disturbing the whole backyard that they just finally got seeded just before fall time, so.
We're looking for a motion to table this, Chris?
we could, or we could just deny it for now until
So
that happens.
to give some background, the gentleman that owns it, I believe is an attorney, and he acquired this property, I think, as alternate payment for something that didn't go well. So has the property on the market and he's trying to offload it.
Mhm.
So time is of the essence for him.
Oh. The way we're looking at it now, it's probably gonna get denied until it's happens, I believe. We could either table it until the future date,
Sabrina says that it's, what it should be.
compliant.
And you guys can go out too and look at it.
I believe you. I think
Okay.
that
So
you would
one
know
of
if it
the,
was,
yeah, one of
and
the.
Ryan agrees with you, so.
Yeah, one of the issues they encountered, Mark mentioned, and I agreed to him to some point, is the mature trees in that area are still there. So when they were trying to scrape out the gravel, they're also ripping the roots of the red maples that were already there. It's not. So it was hard to over excavate there and inlay because of all the tree roots that were already there. How long that had been there, I don't know. So, I mean, they did do a whole new septic system that's 2 code, so. Some benefit there, they weren't required to do that, but
In your opinion, would that? What they've done, even though it's not maybe what was the same source that's there, will eventually be a wetland, like, is it gonna, like, what they put back there is like, are you gonna be able to tell the difference if it's a gravelly topsoil or? You know what I'm saying, like, in your opinion, like,
right, so I mean, it's been dry this late part of the summer, and even if you did inlay the correct soils, you wouldn't be able to tell for a couple of years, and it's the hydric conditions are right there. So, not saying it won't function as a wetland, it's just, I can't tell right now.
And that's another thing is on the details of the NOI, it has 2 years monitoring, essentially. This was taken before the grass started growing. It doesn't look like that right now. This is taken back in August. But like, this is what I mean, when I don't
Does
think the
not look like
soils
Gannett,
were
yeah.
replaced at all. I mean, you still see all those rocks,
Gravel.
the gravel in here. It's gravel.
Spread some loam over the top of it, some good composted soil, right? I mean,
That's what I was saying, if they could just
and
add,
throw some
what's there.
wetland seed mix in there.
yeah, be easier,
That would be a better compromise than
right,
Then,
more excavating.
right.
Yeah, like you said, it's.
yeah, that is.
I mean, in reality, those trees aren't really like filled over I mean, it's hard to tell, but like, really, like, it's not like they like. Those trees have been there for 100 something years, so it's not like the original soil is all still there.
Right.
You would have ripped, those trees would all be dead if they like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So there's still the soil there, like Dennis said, if you just. Top dress it with a little bit and throw some more,
Yeah.
but if it's already growing, I don't know, I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
You think you put hay on top of that too, or
How much more damage you're gonna do by going in there and
dig it, you
ripping all the roots out of
know?
it.
Yeah,
The thing is with maple trees, the roots don't really go, it's more not a tap root, they spread
Spread out.
this way, so the roots aren't gonna be very deep and anything that you go in there, you're gonna kill those trees.
Mhm.
I'm gonna build it up more rather than take anything else, I think.
Do you have any photos of recent, the last ones I sent?
And I'm kind of kicking myself, because I know Andy sent me some. As-built cover letter. Recorded. I don't think I saved it.
Okay.
In here, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I thought I did have it.
So at that time, the last picture that was up there was taken, the tree installed was a Norway maple, which is an invasive.
didn't put
So
it- oh.
I told them to swap that out with a red maple, and when they did that, they did a little bit better top dressing, they seeded it again.
Yeah,
And right now it looks thick as a lawn, but
and that, yeah. So it looks like a lawn. I'm wondering if maybe like some type of monumentation should be put there so they don't use it as a lawn down the road. Cause we want it to let it be wetland, right?
mhm.
That's a thought that I'm.
Take much, right? Just some soil and some seed mix and let it set for a while and come back and get a certificate of compliance.
Just bring it up a little bit more to the.
Everything else was good, the trees, everything else is
The,
fine.
the problem is, are they gonna, you gonna get any do you think it's gonna grow enough now? It's
Not this year.
No,
So,
Two years of monitoring anyway.
how much like actual, like, I don't wanna keep talking about this, but the wetlands that are there, how much grass or like wetland mix is growing in those woods? It all looks like just forest litter to me and leaves.
Yeah,
Like, there's a few like
fern.
ferny stuff, but there's not actual like
A lot of
vegetation in there.
hemlocks, it's pretty shady
Yeah.
in there, yeah.
Like, how much actual vegetation is there? You know, it's forest and some ferns.
Mhm.
Right.
That's all wetlands, but look, it's all leaves, organic, just forest litter.
Yeah, it did say if at the end of the first or second growing season or both, success rate is not expected to be 75%. Planting or seeding of restoration area shall be undertaken. So it is noted that there's 2 growing seasons and to be monitoring that to make sure success of the plants. So in my mind, I'm thinking this is going to be going on for 2 years and then a certificate of compliance would be issued if it's in compliance.
Right.
yeah, 'cause you
And they
can't
want it
transfer
now.
that in a deed.
Mhm.
So you can't transfer that in a deed, can you? Don't have to get transferred with the deed if that
Is that what the problem is here, that they
I think
need
he
a
wants to sell it.
certificate of
Mhm.
compliance to sell it?
Mhm. Just makes it less appealing for someone to
I
purchase.
mean,
it.
we've done this before, we've said that, you know, if they do this and that we will most likely issue a certificate of compliance, and they have.
They'll have a
done
letter
closings
of
with
documentation.
With
to give
that
to the
letter,
That would be helpful,
buyer.
yeah.
Yeah, I just did that for 38
yeah,
each. I mean, that's a much
so.
closer,
it-
but
It
but then,
appears as though with, you know, with,
but then the new owners is responsible to be in compliance,
To monitor.
to monitor.
yeah, well, that's their.
As long as they're aware of
Responsibility
it.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Make
does
them
look
aware
like
of
they
it.
dug
yeah.
soil. You can see that middle maple tree. See how it's darker, like
Here,
yeah, the tall maple tree right there. See it right where your cursor is, the line down a little bit to the right. It looks like the dirt with, no, again, the actual tree. See, you can, no.
Oh, yeah,
The
right,
old
the
tree
tree itself, yeah.
The old tree right in the
But
center.
yeah,
This one.
you can see what it-
Yep, down, go down. You can see how that bark, the bark is lighter up higher and
Yeah.
it's darker on the bottom. So they did dig.
oh,
soil,
yeah, they did. It was a big mound
Behind
before.
it too, yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
they
A lot was
did,
taken out
they
of there.
did take stuff out.
Yeah, that was buried.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's a good clue.
so it wouldn't take much to,
Put some back.
I think they're there, other than like what Steve Marino was saying about, is it's supposed to be monitored for 2 years, but.
so we could write them a letter saying that it's, we've
Under
done it
these certain
before,
conditions,
and
if these things are met,
It's, I mean, we must have done it 6 times, so we
Okay.
didn't.
I feel
interfere
comfortable with that.
Yeah,
So what things need to be met, you need to tell me which way.
So what were you thinking, Dennis? The soils brought in, or get more
Organic
organic
soil.
soil in wetlands, seed mix?
build it up.
Yeah.
That's not gonna sprout right now.
How much,
Is it
organic
easy to
soil?
access the site?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's right at the end of their
It's
driveway.
not complicated. Oh, yeah. So they're on 2,
Hence
3
why it got
inches.
filled in.
Bring a truck in
What do you
and
think, couple
I think,
inches,
I think
and
so.
spread it out.
Yeah,
couple
um,
inches,
two,
Two-
3 inches of.
topsoil.
I'd say at least 3.
3 inches of,
It was supposed to be 12.
That
It
way,
was
that way
supposed to
you'll
be
get
12.
2.
Yeah.
Say 3 and then you'll get 2.
It's better than what it was, that's for
Right.
sure.
inches of topsoil. With,
Wetland seed mix. Which some will grow, maybe.
so. Those are. And is that it?
Mm-hmm.
So the letter should
Anybody
say
have anything
what?
else they wanna add?
That. If these things are met, a certificate of compliance will be,
Oh, will most likely be. Just give some reasonable assurance, we
will
have to
be,
give the
fa-
assurance.
that the commission will be favorable to issuing a certificate. of
Is that right?
compliance.
Yeah, that sounds good.
You send that right to the lawyer, right to the.
Mr. Warman, yeah.
But a certificate of compliance is not going to be
Given at this time.
given at this time.
And we can say due to the length of monitoring stipulated in the order of conditions.
To growing season.
All right, anybody want to make a motion?
Goes to the table?
I'll make a motion to table
Second.
All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Chris Pratt, aye?
All right,
it. Have an eye.
Dennis, I.
Jerry, I.
Okay. The letter
thanks.
will be
Yep.
hopefully suffice.
Pass along the message. Thank
Okay.
you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
And the moment you've been waiting for.
I knew there's a reason why I brought that. over here.
We have 24 and 26 Nicholson Road, possible changes to 454-0127. Issued on 8/18/2023. Dr. Gantock? Okay.
Thank you, you'll have my seat.
Just state your names. Well, that used to be
Sorry
our
about
spot.
that.
It used to be our place.
it's a permanent move for us. No, but.
Just at nights when they're busy, when they have a big, yeah. Okay. On conflicting nights, yes.
Yes, it could be. All right, let's quiet down.
Yeah, it is.
Steve sent a PDF. No, I sent a PDF. Did you get it? It's okay.
Is it new?
It's just like, it is new, yes.
Then I don't have it.
It's in your email.
It's in my email then.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's all right, it's understandable.
Can't get there from here.
So.
When did you send it? At 6
5
o'clock,
o'clock.
didn't you?
No,
4:30.
I don't want to talk about it.
Some people are busy.
I don't want to talk, I love it.
Good answer.
So. So at the last meeting, we went through, I had updated a delineation out here that was previously done. We had a site visit. I think there was agreement that the new delineation was accurate to the site. So I had misspoke before. I said it was a single family house. It's a duplex.
Oh, it was duplex.
So that's my mistake. That's on me. So what we're proposing is a 77 foot by 44 duplex. And it's gonna be upslope from the old plan, which was down here. Steve's got the grading all worked out so that there's about 2,500 square feet of impact within the outer 50 feet of the buffer zone. There's no impact on the inner 50 feet of the buffer zone. The septic system was previously here and it was going to be a pump system because the house was a lower elevation. So we're going to move the septic down here. So that has to be redesigned, potentially new perks, but I don't see any issues with perking in here, but so we're gonna move that here. The driveway can follow pretty much the existing path that's there now.
Okay.
And that reduces the cut that would be down here for the driveway. There'll be some work up here at the highest part of the property, really, which is a better place to be doing it. And that kind of levels things out a little bit. I just want to look at my notes for a second to make sure I'm not moving. So driveway, right, and this stuff out here, the septic system in the driveway is kind of outside of any buffer zones. So Steve is going to work on that. And that would be a Board of Health issue and building inspector, is that?
Board of Health.
Yeah,
it's just
to
Board of
make,
Health.
just to make sure that the septic system is acceptable, the new design, and
Mhm.
basically the reason for the new design is just to so that it works on gravity. There's no need to be
Mhm.
pumping it now that you've moved the house up the hill,
Mhm.
Right,
so.
and the soil looks pretty sandy gravelly.
That is, the soils out here are, I believe, uh, they're either, well drained or excessively well drained,
Mhm.
so.
Where's the wetland?
Way on top.
Here, this is
But
like
you
your
didn't-
woods, what, I did not do the well down here because,
They're out of,
we're not even touching the second half of the property right now. The 20, this will be 26 here, I think. It's the downhill one. So there's no work being done down here.
Mhm.
So if they. Was it? What, close that order of conditions? No,
We were to amend a notice of intent, an existing notice of intent.
so you. The delineation on this notice of intent is good for the life of this notice of intent. You can't change the delineation. You have to cancel
It
this.
hasn't been approved yet, though.
This has been approved. This old one has been approved.
Oh, that one's been approved.
This has been
I
approved.
think when we were
And it
not,
has a delineation in it, so this needs to be like. The delineation lives with this.
so he'd like to withdraw
never-
that and
So
reapply.
that's the-
There's an order of conditions on that.
Yeah.
property?
Yes, yep.
I was not aware of that.
Me
I
either.
think I thought that this was because it was a municipal.
It's still an order of conditions.
no,
Yes,
I-
yeah,
I was not aware that it had ever gone through to have an order of conditions on the old.
And all that.
I was not involved in
Yeah,
the project
yeah.
at all then, so I don't know. Okay,
yeah.
so.
Which is
alright,
kind of like what we did with 55 Foster, I think. They had them withdraw their notice, which wasn't even approved yet, to reapply with their new plan, because it was so different.
This has been approved, though.
This one has already been approved,
So. Have to withdraw.
right? That's what I'm thinking.
And that's because we
So
talked
it's like a
about another
different plan,
wetland over
so-
here
Yeah,
on the original one. Is
Your
that
order
right?
is gonna be different.
well, they came up and he said it was all wetlands and.
The original
It wasn't.
wetland came up.
Yeah, oh, I went up, I looked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so.
I agree with this, this is,
The house is way down here and it's
Oh,
not what
right,
they
right.
wanted. So they had to look at it, I looked at it. I said,
no, right,
This is the old plan.
No, this is the old one?
Yep.
right. That makes sense. It's a nice view from up there.
Oh, so the
I'll
scope
get
of
out of the way.
the old plan.
It's
Oh,
an-
yeah, I like it when you
The
explain
one
it
that you
to
guys
us.
approved,
Alright, so the old house,
one of the
you can
old.
see, um. It's down on the slope. There's a lot of cutting and filling
Mhm.
on the slope, and this slope is moderately steep down here.
Mhm.
So. You didn't want this. And
wanted
so
a
we
different-
looked at this and I went out and looked at it and I was like, wow. This. There's some wetland vegetation here, but the soils are upland and the vegetation is spotty. I mean, there's sedges growing along the side of Nicholson Hill Road down here, so it's just like
Mhm.
sometimes they just
They
grow.
pop up, right.
They didn't read the rules and
Mhm.
know that they're supposed to stay.
Hmm.
So anyway, so I redelineated it and in here, well and truly is a wetland. There's a groundwater seep up in the corner of the property. And when I did the delineation, it was really flowing nicely and
Okay.
this little drain going down. The slope kind of helps
Mhm.
it stay limited.
Yeah.
If it was flat, you might have a
wider,
larger
yeah.
footprint there.
Okay,
But
and the same with this,
that one I did not
You
go
didn't
down
touch.
and look,
Yeah.
but this is flatter, so
you
do-
know it's
have-
there, that's all.
Absolutely,
You know
yep,
it's there.
yep.
right. Okay,
Um,
yeah, that was. So that compared to the new one,
It's here.
yes, right, it's a smaller footprint now, or is that what's going on?
I wanna look if you got each resident. I need to look at the scale. We didn't draw this,
As
so,
noted.
and I didn't look at it.
Mhm.
Where's this scale on here? Oh, 1 inch to 20. This is 1 to 30. So this looks smaller compared to this,
Because of the
and it
scale,
is
sure.
likely, it is smaller, but it's not half the size as it
Alright.
appears.
The driveway's basically in the same spot.
The driveway on this is downslope of this. This driveway is probably here.
Uh,
The septic system was gonna be here. We're gonna
Okay.
take the septic system
And move it
and move
over.
it down
So it could be,
slope,
so it could be gravity.
kind of here,
Yes.
with the house up here, it's gravity fed. He doesn't have to have a pump now. So,
Mhm.
That's what I prefer.
And there's less alteration of the, whole
and less
property.
cutting and filling on the slope.
Right,
Yeah.
right, okay.
Steve's got it so that all the cut and fill is right up on the more level part of the property. And it
Okay.
reduced the impacts of the
So
buffer zone. of
with being the
2,500
approved
feet.
one, it's sufficiently different than the
Right.
proposed one.
exactly.
This one would be almost impossible to build.
Yeah.
Because you have this foundation wall here
Yeah,
would be 27 feet tall.
yeah, you don't want
So
that.
the
No.
new delineation will come in with a new notice of intent.
So I guess we need a
Like the
new
way it
notice.
is, I think you would definitely, we want the
If it were
delineation
kinda
on the
close,
plan,
You know,
because we need
So,
that
All right,
to at
so,
least state it.
so you're thinking if I go, eliminate at the bottom.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
it was part of the reason.
Reapply for the new and all that.
NOI.
Correct.
What is the process?
Thanks, Sabrina.
Withdraw that one.
I think it's request for certificate of compliance, project never started.
Right, there's a little check mark
Right.
on that,
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
that 8A, I think it is, that says project
yep.
never done.
8A.
Yes, okay.
Eight
Uh,
A,
okay.
Form 8A.
They want to show it.
Withdraw.
And just to show that it's there.
Okay,
Yeah,
It's
just,
not
it's
gonna
part
be
of the
impacting your
parcel,
plan.
No.
or-
but definitely put in the.
This could end up making it
the
easier.
buffers. This does this have the
Yeah.
buffer for that
Be
one?
clean, a nice clean.
Yeah.
well, actually, yeah, it does, because it takes a lot of the conditions out of it that the old one would have.
Right.
So the order conditions should be a lot
Yeah.
simpler for this new NOI than.
I would think.
I should think, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
because you're less work.
Yeah.
You're,
Okay, delineate bottom.
and the path of that wetland doesn't go toward the house, like you said, it goes downhill.
Into this way.
Right,
Kind of goes
exactly.
northeast out towards.
Right.
I think. I think
10 and
northeast
202.
utilities owns property
Yeah.
out there somewhere or something. Okay, and then.
So that doesn't really concern me.
And, all right, now. Does. This, do you still require certified letters to abutters? Or is that what?
Yeah, I think on a new,
Is it
Okay.
the new notice, so.
Okay, so, and can I use the state form on the abutter notification, or does the town have its own
I mean, use the state one.
state one?
But yeah,
Okay,
the
okay.
one, the example they have online, that's fine.
State form. Others. And so today I learned that there's a new level. That form says Army Corps on it, but I don't know, I did not know that, so maybe I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
So they're gonna.
I've done,
request
I mean,
for
I've done
certificate of
Army Corps.
compliance For the
It's
next
just that
meeting
they're-
and we'll.
They're like
sign
4 or
off,
5
completed.
pages, and it's
Yeah.
like, the state one is so
Yeah, simple.
efficient.
Yeah.
It answers all the same questions, everything's there. It's
Yeah.
So
okay,
Jeff, you're gonna put in, you're gonna have a request for certificate of compliance for the next meeting, right?
yeah.
We can do them both the same.
Do the NOI and.
Yeah.
Does the certificate of compliance have to be approved before we submit the new NOI? Can
Well, we'll do
Well, we can do
Right
that
before.
right before,
Okay, so kind of.
Yeah.
Almost concurrent.
right, right at
Not a
the same
separate
time.
meeting,
No,
okay.
Make sure
Try to
that,
get you up and running there.
I would say pretty much same hearing,
Okay,
or
so
concurrent hearings.
Draw existing NOI, certificate of compliance, fully, bottom wetland, NOI, straightforward for butters. Okay,
did you wanna do another site visit, see the wetland flags and that house? I don't think you had the house.
we didn't before, no.
Yeah.
We just looked at what's, right?
I
So I mean,
kind of
this,
pointed it out
Do it.
approximately, but we could go out and we could put some 4 stakes in the ground where the footprint is on this. If that's what you need, it's, I mean, they're gonna
is
be. up
anybody
there.
interested in going out to look?
they're gonna be shooting in the flags.
Well, I mean, you'd have to decide then, if you wanna go.
I think, well,
I'll go.
the wet.
I've been there
wetlands should
before.
Yeah,
definitely-
I mean, I'm pretty
Yeah.
comfortable, cause I'm pretty sure I can see how far away from the road it is, the
Right.
angle it is, the distance from the wetland. Yeah, I got a pretty good picture in my head,
Mhm.
what it's like. But if anybody else wanted to go, we could set up a time.
Where's
You
it
want me-
in reference to the ditch that runs the whole way?
The old road,
Is that?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, there's an old right of way road up in here.
okay,
Actually, that ditch might be,
right,
that
cause
ditch
we
is up
walked in
here,
like that.
right?
and then we-
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Okay. This is further down. Well,
Is
if
the
anybody
silk
wants to
fence
go
on the
again,
plan?
I'll go.
we don't have any.
Okay,
erosion
all
control.
right, so that'll be another.
You want a plan?
The same one.
Given,
I gave
You
you, I
look
put
like
mine
yours.
out tonight.
yeah, we don't,
Oh, I don't need this.
we don't need that.
No, it's
Okay.
not, it's not.
That has to have all the stuff,
Yeah,
all the other information has to be included. All right,
yeah, definitely the wetland flags and flag the buffer.
Yep.
And
erosion
then-
control.
Yep,
In my, and I sent this to you, also, but here's a paper copy of I
listen,
revised report to state that it was a two-family. And I also, in my old one, I didn't have any details about erosion control, but we would be using straw wattles around the perimeter of the construction with a crushed stone entrance at the bottom of the driveway, because the driveway's got some slope to it, try to keep any dirt from running off on the Nicholson Hill.
that'd be good.
I think that about covers it. It's,
So we determine if we're gonna do, are we gonna have to do a site, like a site visit, or are we not?
If you want to,
I've seen the site.
I have too, I mean, I'm comfortable, I don't feel the need
But
to.
like, so, but for the flagging and stuff, are we, like, what are?
Well, I've seen,
Yeah, I know.
up in
we
the
were talking
top,
about flagging.
but on the bottom, I'm not too concerned with,
Yeah, I know,
as long as
because
it's on the plan
Yeah.
and delineated
Yeah.
there, I'm fine.
I think it should be flagged everywhere, just in case.
No, I
something
mean,
happens on
he
the
should
street.
flag it and
But we don't have
delineate it
to
on
see it
plan.
before we, the next meeting, we don't need to see the flagging. That's really.
I don't think I need.
I
to-
don't-
Flagging should
It's
it
a
will
big-
be on the plan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
If anybody wants to make a site visit,
no,
Right.
Go anytime.
right,
yeah, why don't you just let
as long as he
Sabrina,
doesn't mind if somebody goes there.
so when you do it, let Sabrina know when it's done, then people, you
Yeah.
can let people know that they have the opportunity to go out and check it
Yeah.
out.
Super. And I'm going to try to early next week, probably. I
Okay.
can Do that.
And just let her know.
Yeah.
and
For
I
sure.
don't feel the need to have a formal site visit, but if people wanna go
Okay.
out and do
Alright.
that, they can,
I'm comfortable if you are.
yeah. I mean, that's so down slope
Right,
from the projects. They're not doing any cutting below it, it's like they were. So,
Is that all gonna just grow back?
Well, what we wanna do is take it down like 4 feet, make that area bigger so we can move the house forward. And then hopefully maintain it right now.
She's.
And then down here,
Once we see the new plans and delineation.
Yeah.
and everything,
Yeah,
we'll see that.
and then down
discuss
here,
this
we just
further.
wanna
Right now,
maintain.
it's kind of
Keep it
Yeah.
preliminary.
getting overgrown.
okay,
More discussion on it, so.
Yeah.
all right. So as far as changes, you can't change it, but you can reapply.
right.
All right. All righty.
Okay.
Well,
You guys want this?
we'll be talking later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Can I ask a favor? Can you cover Noble Steve?
Actually, I didn't get
Yeah.
anything out there.
Oh, you
No.
Yeah.
Would you like one for these?
Usually I'm a thick magnet, but.
Yeah, I wanna work, I'll get down,
Yeah.
but they told me not to do anything.
No, you're not supposed to, but
Well, Southwick's a complicated town. You've got a state line on it. You got lakes, you got all kinds of residences on
actually, it's
lakes.
been, well, I
Makes
don't
it a
know.
complicated town. It's not
That
just. a
color's on
little
the
town
dog,
up on
but
the
this
top
year's
of
been
the
pretty
hill.
mild, you know.
Conservation is what's going on here.
Yeah.
Sure.
For sure.
We're all set with this one then?
Now falls here.
Chris,
Yeah.
we're all good with this one?
Yep.
We move on to the next.
Yes, I guess so, Dennis.
Thank you.
Dennis wants to go.
Fine.
Okay, we're gonna move on to 19 Foster Road. Thank you very much.
We have a
We have an unimproved felled trees.
We have a request, should we do Noble Street first?
Oh,
Reminds,
sorry.
that's
Yeah,
okay, no,
Noble Steed, we're down here at the bottom. One up from the bottom.
so just to update everybody
It's
on
the new
that,
bridge.
thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Glad we found the right road.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for Steve, right?
Okay, thank you.
We can put your name on it.
Yours are on me.
Yes.
My name's Jeff.
I'm Sharon.
Nice to meet you.
Tim.
See you later.
Nice.
All right, so now Noble Speed sees deed subdivision, request for extension of order condition and project update.
Okay, so, we got some information, there's some design work that was done on the crossing. So we're kind of in that process now, we're moving forward with it. We have, it is going to be a, an open culvert crossing, it'll be 9 feet wide, so it meets the 1.2 ratio on, on bank width.
Bank plus two.
Because because I delineated the stream through there, when the DPW guy or the waterways guy was out there. He said it was a stream, so
Mhm.
he says it's a stream, it's a stream. We've designed around that. He gave us a waiver on the openness ratio, so we don't have to meet that, but we do meet the bank full width. So it's gonna be about 120 feet of impact. It's a 9 foot wide open steel arch. There's not gonna be any concrete poured for the base. It sits on on crushed stone base with steel panels supporting it, and then it's kind of self-supported that way because of its mass. It sits.
It's like the one with the southwark end.
I'm not sure. I wasn't involved in that, but is that something that you've seen before?
Yeah,
Yeah, the engineer, Terry Reynolds is doing the engineering work on this.
Okay.
So that's the update on that. And then, once this is done, he can tie the rest of the storm system in. And 2 weeks ago, you would ask me about it, and I didn't have the information that everything else was being tied together and improved, and I found that out like the next day after the meeting. So that's where we stand on that. We've reduced the wetlands impact. It was around 2,300, I think, for square footage, and we reduced it down to 1,551 square feet.
Is that with the 2-to-1 ratio? Or is
No,
that,
that's the impact. So 2 to 1 is gonna be about 3,100 square feet of restoration. And I think we can still do it downstream to the north of the crossing and that little wooded saddle in there, kind of adjacent to the wetland. It's the easiest access. You may have to split it up and do it on both sides, but it's the easiest access, least impact. There's a couple other places where we looked at, where you're gonna have to go in there and you're gonna have to clear access to it through the woods, and that's just not,
Right.
it's just not the best way to do it.
what kind
Do it
of,
where your impact already is happening, kind of, you know.
what kind of restoration are they gonna do for the stream itself? They're gonna take some of that out of there?
The stream is gonna be rebuilt approximately the size that it is now. We are not required to do an actual stream restoration.
No?
That's based on what the guy from the Division of Water Pollution said. But it'll be probably a gravel substrate through there.
And then sand,
Gravel, sand and gravel.
sand
Yeah.
over the top, or stays gravel?
It could just be probably just sand and gravel is good because the gravel kind of breaks it up a little bit. If it's just sand, the sand tends to wash
Moves
away.
around.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. I think our next step, now what did you say about the order conditions? Does that have to be submitted to end the old I'm confused on this because we got about 4 different things going, like we're,
Are we just looking to extend the old order conditions or?
Yeah,
that's what we did like last spring. That's how we got started on this whole
Yeah.
thing. He asked us to extend.
still in limbo because we're waiting on the 401 water quality.
Okay, so we're okay then.
Yeah,
We're still in the extension on the order of
Good.
conditions, and I'm almost ready to start working on the 401 water quality, because now I have this information.
yeah. So once we get that 401 water quality, then we can actually review again to see if we want to extend. Because it's in limbo right now. Technically, there is no extension
Okay.
yet.
Okay.
That's why we did the,
Needed any work out there to be under enforcement.
exactly, yeah,
Right.
of course, that's why the stormwater infrastructure is under enforcement order right now. We want the
Good.
stormwater to work.
We covered everything.
I
I don't
think so,
know.
as far as I know.
I'll remember something.
If you have anything else you wanna tell us, you can. If you don't, then we're all good.
I got a new
It's up to
truck.
you.
There, that's what I'm saying. I got a new truck.
Nice.
That's good news.
My new war pony.
Where's 2011?
Right, this is my third Tacoma, so
Oh, nice.
I like this. You do want this for your files for an hour. I
No.
didn't send a PDF because it's not finished.
Right, don't send me
So,
anything that's not,
okay.
unless it's finished.
It's done, yeah.
Yeah, okay, very good.
All right.
Thanks
Thank
very
you,
much for your
Jeff.
time. Thank you
Sure.
for rearranging the meeting.
Oh, no
you.
problem.
Yeah.
Sure. Just us here anyway right now. That's making it
Have a
hang.
nice night.
See you, Jeff.
You as well. Take care, everybody.
Take care, Jeff.
Have a good night.
Okay, we got 56 Sunnyside Road, possible unpermitted work, alteration in a resource area.
I sent them a letter. I haven't heard back, but 19 Foster Road does need to be,
Enforcement order for that,
yeah, I have the enforcement order.
first reviewed it.
Chris reviewed it. He said it looks okay to him, but you guys can certainly read. I have written up the form itself and then, in the, where does it say?
So you need us to, what do you call it, when you
Is,
confirm an enforcement order, you. What's the term for that? I forgot, it's been a long time.
approve an enforcement, issue?
No, don't approve it. So,
We have to sign it.
Condone.
Come on, Dennis, you can do it. Trying to read your
Can you
mind.
describe the word?
After you issue an enforcement order, it goes with the commission, then the commission.
Approves.
Accept?
Certifies?
Endorses.
We're getting there. so-
I mean, all of this sounded good to me.
Accepts.
Ratify?
That's a good word.
We're getting there.
But no,
No?
I like that word.
Ratify. Not ratify? No.
Well, anyway,
We got them
we gonna sign it if we accept.
yeah,
We need to do
there's a written part in the back, if you wanted to review
Yeah.
before you sign it. Basically, it's saying like. It tells the property owner what they need to do, they need to attend the next meeting, they need to do a planting plan, I suggested. Native plants in the area. I counted 22 trees that were down, so I said 22 trees,
Well,
that's just from the photos.
Wow.
Gave them a date that they need to have these plantings done by, I said,
Ratified, that's what it is.
I just
He
said,
said it.
I had it, he said it.
I said that
You
word.
said it, so.
Yeah,
We think you were
Said it
too
3
many at
times.
once.
you win.
Thank you.
I said that the plantings.
That was very deep.
The plantings need to be done by November 4th. If he can't do it, he needs to, basically document, the unforeseen circumstance no later, than May 31st of next year for the plantings. And then he must notify us, he must monitor for 2 consecutive growing seasons. If he can't do this himself, he must hire a professional. And then after completion of 2 consecutive growing seasons and provided that the replacement trees have survived, this enforcement order shall be deemed satisfied. So that's synopsis of what I wrote. So,
I'll make a motion to approve. the Enforcement order, ratify the enforcement order. Dennis, you want a second? You want to take the word
Second.
ratify? Think I met seconded, we'll take a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Norm, I.
Kevin, Dennis, I.
Jerry, I.
we're good. Unanimous.
I think ratify, I hadn't sent out the enforcement order yet.
I don't care.
Isn't it ratified?
Normally, we don't have to all sign it. You can go just, you can
Yeah.
just sign it.
Yeah,
issue it,
and that's when the
then commission.
ratification would
But
happen,
we'll
right?
just skip that and go right to the ratify and everybody will.
Okay,
Since you brought it with you, why not?
yeah, why don't you guys review it? To make sure it seems.
I
Okay,
liked it.
Okay.
doesn't have to be sent out. And hopefully it comes to the next meeting, hopefully you guys the letter,
Right,
hopefully the mail gets sent it to them.
Anything on the detail in place?
Oh, yes, I have something on
oh,
that.
right,
Did you wanna talk about that now, or?
yeah, why not?
So the detailing place, that is interesting. I let John Goddard, our town planner, stormwater man know, also Wendy Brown, our DPW. Because that's on College Highway, which is Mass DOT.
Ah,
So they're trying to figure out whose jurisdiction it is. If it's state jurisdiction or if it's our jurisdiction. Regardless, John is gonna give me an update. He just sort of gave me a really quick verbal update today that they're gonna
there
work
was a
on it.
VA truck coming out of it, like close to it somewhere,
They're,
very close.
okay,
2 days
Jeff,
ago.
I
Yeah,
think,
Yeah.
went to
You
go
can't,
check
you
it
can't
out.
do that. You can't wash cars and just let them run out.
No,
Right.
no, right.
And into the storm drains, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
so
the
John
parking
would,
lot.
You have to
I mean,
have- you have to
sometimes
have
the
a
high
set-
school does it in the parking lot
Yeah.
there, which is not a business.
Because
you know,
they don't,
Right.
plus they don't have the storm drains. so-
And that's a one-shot deal. These
Mm.
guys do it all the time.
You
Right,
gotta
that's
have-
their-
it's
that's
gotta
part of
go
their
on.
business,
We've
so.
got a lot of
that-
campers there.
Yeah.
At first, when I saw the email, I was thinking, oh, it's just the high school kids having another car wash. Then I
I
saw
drove
the
by there,
pictures, and I
saw
saw
that.
everything else going on, like where
They're
it was.
washing trucks with
Yeah.
solvents. That's.
Yeah.
Big thing of solvent.
It's gotta go somewhere.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, they have to have a place to put it.
But it shouldn't be going where it's.
And not in a
I
storm
need-
drain.
yeah, and so down the road, that
They need their own
business,
storage tank.
the property
Well,
owner
but-
needs to figure out if they wanna break lease or something with them because they can't provide the proper infrastructure for that type of business, or if they want to fix it, so they can absorb that water and put it into the
Hmm.
sewer.
Some sort of catch basin.
Right,
Yeah, they can't go into.
Cause, you know, if it has solvent and things like that, and there's certain things you can't put into the sewer,
right,
you know.
'cause it'll overflow.
It's
So,
pH has to be more or less correct, and,
mm,
you know, there's guidelines to that, what you can and can't put in.
Jerry's had some experience on
Yeah,
this.
he's our sewer
Few
expert.
years on the sewer
So
committee.
if they have stuff that's like, you know, a really caustic solvent or something. they
Yeah,
can't Go in there.
so that's just the update.
All right,
Keep you posted.
we'll move
It's
on.
in motion.
Uh,
Yeah, we don't need any.
set amount
Three-eye fishing.
tabled for now. Dead tree on North Pond Conservation, we talked about, is there any update on that, or,
I still have to finish up the letter and send it to the neighbor.
okay, any update on 13 Berkshire, if we have any,
Yeah,
okay?
you have, I think it's the last thing in your, so we've got,
Yeah, excellent.
so partial completion of phase boundary survey. I did mention that you guys want pins in the ground, but I think even in the quote, it did say pins.
Yeah,
On number 5, upon completion of the review, the
I
cleanup
know,
field
yeah.
service to set iron pins at all currently.
Yeah.
Unmonumented corners, unmonumented
Yeah,
major property
right.
owners. So that is,
we do,
so they're asking us to pay this bill.
Okay, and that's just part of it, right?
Yeah,
That's coming out of the Woody Fund, right?
let's hope.
Yes, it is coming out of the Woody Fund.
Yeah,
I'm not asking, that's
right.
it.
request by Dennis, seconded by Mr. Pratt.
Yeah, you guys voted for it already.
Yes.
So, yeah, I can get that moving along for payment.
Okay, proposed amendments to local LPP, requested by select board, chief police, harbor master, Diane Gale, move this
I have
forward.
no update on that. Do you have anything?
Never heard anything else.
Okay.
No.
Okay, report from Suffield, presentation on LPP,
Yes.
contract.
That took place.
Jason Perone and I went there. I presented basically the same document that I presented to you guys a couple meetings ago.
Great.
Remember, there's two open issues, the independent audit of the LMC inventory. And he totally loved getting 153 photos of every dock
That's-
in the boat, and property, identified to the property level. He says, I'll buy that. He said. And on the Concom membership, he said it's still an issue unless Jason can produce a document that says we can't do it by the state of Massachusetts.
That's so weird.
And Jason says he's got that.
Yeah.
And if he does have it, that he'll buy the liaison film.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah,
can always do that, or even associate member maybe,
No, I don't think so.
that's been known to happen on
Not
LMC,
from
we
another
have,
state.
yeah,
Well, that's LMC isn't a
yeah,
state.
that's the steering
Yeah.
committee, yeah,
It's got in our
we had
mandate.
Connecticut guys on it.
So we're getting closer.
It's just, it's
Yeah, the state mandates who are members of
But most of our stuff
conservation. It has to
has
be, you have to
nothing to
live
do
in
with.
town.
And we're supposed to have staggered memberships. I don't know if the select board has got that right. As far as.
Well, that's
getting
why we-
people Reappointed,
Yeah,
not every year,
well, I think
not
that,
every,
I think they are staggered, aren't
I
they?
replaced
Yeah.
Dave.
Some
so
are
that
from 1
came up
year, some are from 2
during this.
years. and-
Yeah, he replaced
Oh.
Dave, so that's why.
so they'll let us know how long our.
It's 3 years.
It'll take for 3 years.
It's 3 years. Everything is 3 years now.
And see when your term expires.
3 years from when I got appointed last week,
Correct.
or from the
It-
term.
The term, I
The
think.
term, but that's,
July.
but that is his
July
first thing. That was his
I don't know the formula.
reappointment.
What's
From
the
your,
formula?
when you're reappointed, you get 3 years.
Yeah.
The first appointment doesn't mean 3 years because I was appointed at the end of somebody else's term, so I was
Yeah.
filling that
Sounds
term.
Alright, so it's.
But when
3
you get
years.
reappointed, then it
Of the
becomes 3 years.
Right,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's only
Should
the
be
first,
effectively
the
July
first
1st
year
this
that the
year.
commission starts,
year
do
July
they have the
1st,
1 year,
yeah.
2 year.
Correct.
Okay,
Right,
Alrighty.
and they're just gonna keep appointing, is that how it's gonna go from here on, because they were talking about elections at one point.
no more elections?
There were,
Ooh,
that happens.
yeah, I think the state had to say something about that.
Oh,
I think
Said
they had
we
to
could
get
do it
them,
under home rules law, we'd have to.
yeah, have to create our own bylaw for it.
Create a bylaw for it, you know.
okay,
No,
well, it happened
I
once.
think it was recommended at the town meeting, so I don't know
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
what happens there,
I'll cross that bridge.
right?
I have nothing to do with that, I don't know what's going on with
I'm not wrong.
that.
Okay,
The administrative stuff.
report from Suffield Concom meetings,
I did attend another meeting, nothing on the agenda about the lake.
okay,
There's
Yeah.
a big public hearing on pig farming,
oh boy.
so. Not having pig farms in our town,
Not
so,
anymore.
consider us lucky.
All right.
Suffield does?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
And possible wetland violation, 31 Sam West Road,
Did you go out?
Yeah, Andy was gonna call you,
What do you mean?
didn't he?
He let me know, he showed me, he sent me pictures,
Oh,
so,
okay, good.
so give us
Alright,
an
so yeah, him
update.
and I went together. You know, through the farm and over the hill and in the bike, bike trail, some guy was like, hey, I'm going town business.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Did he have a
Was
shotgun?
it because
because there
you,
was a jogger coming up and he's like. "Let's move this truck over the road." You know,
right, you parked on the side of the road and they yelled at
Yeah.
you, yeah, they did that to us, yeah,
past all the benches.
We
and
need
things,
badges
and
or something.
We drive slowly.
we can get you badges.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guy didn't understand it, like, you know, it's like. It's town business.
Yeah.
Shrivel's got
Yeah.
killed on the lake
Yeah.
once.
But yeah,
Are they
walk
gonna
through the
issue
whole
badges,
thing, it
Sabrina?
looks.
Are they gonna issue badges for the,
We can, I don't see why we.
supposed, everybody's
really-
supposed to have an ID of that.
I got
Yeah.
one
kind of-
from a
I have
long time
mine.
ago, but
It's never happened.
I
no,
always
I
have
used to,
my-
I was-
I got a sewer committee one. It's pretty old.
I have it in my
Yeah.
wallet, I have it in my car. It
Oh,
Yeah.
well, there's a nice picture.
So this is, I mean, it's been dry,
doesn't look like me
Get a
anymore.
lanyard.
It doesn't really.
Hair is different,
Yeah, it's totally different, got a mustache.
eyes
and
are a
hair.
different color.
my eyes are grayer than.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, you know,
So these are the images that Andy.
but we were pretty thorough.
Yeah.
I mean, so I mean, we
So he
walked
pointed
through
at
all of this.
something.
So all of that, and then went up in to the chip area.
Yeah.
Saw what they did. So part of what the problem is that when they push stuff onto the edges, once upon a time,
Yeah,
big trees and such. Because of the geography of it, the water flow comes off the highland and then gets in and through the roots and those down trees and stuff that they pushed in there. And it just finds its way into this, so that's kind of what's going on. But,
What's that puddle?
but this is the vernal pool.
That's a vernal pool?
Oh,
Oh, God, it doesn't look
yeah, and it looks like it's intact, but
Looks
there's
like it's
water
a-
coming at it from this side.
overflow puddle.
And then it doesn't really seem like it goes anywhere,
there was an outlet. I know Ryan,
and he
Ryan
was saying that we do
delineated.
more damage by touching the sand and the silt than removing
It looks
stuff,
gravelly
Who said
around
that?
the edges and man-made.
you know?
But there was enforcement order to do that.
Nah, well, are they gonna do it?
That's what we're trying to figure out if they did it, because he's not being responsive.
Did they
Did you-
have to
did you
hire
know-
one?
Oh, I don't
Volunteer.
think, yeah.
Well, Ryan, I mean, I've asked Ryan before and he said that he has had no response from Alexak, right? And you said you're gonna contact him?
I could, yeah.
Yeah, see what's going on, because he was supposed to have had this done.
Alexak was gonna do the work himself.
I think so, yeah.
He said that they were gonna come in there with wheelbarrows and shovels and
Yeah,
pick
just
out.
That was
by
supposed to be like
hand.
this past spring. they were
It
supposed to
was,
do that,
yep.
yeah.
Yeah, and so I asked,
No, didn't look like anything was done,
so then that's, okay, it
Yeah.
doesn't look like anything was done. I have,
or it may have been done and then it refilled with
I'll
new
take a
stuff,
ride by. talk
maybe.
to Butch.
let's see if I have,
you know?
so this is images from, well, there's a date stamp on there. Last year, last May, yeah, and so you can see, the turbidity of,
So that's what it used to look like?
yeah, so this is somebody called in, or someone actually came into my office and said that this is filling up with sand, and you can see just the sediment here,
Yeah.
and it's going into the. I think it's a vernal pool. Ryan delineated it as a bordering vegetated wetland,
Huh.
which is fine.
Well,
And here are
because
some
that's it.
stumps, yeah, and then,
So we climbed over this stuff, it's got into the other thing, honestly. But you know, the problem is like, because of the way these things are. So it's comes down like a bathtub down off that end and it drains in, there's like a whole, like a mini cave under this.
Mhm.
And the water comes out of
So
there.
it's still
and then
functioning as
and then it just
the
fills in,
wetland
yeah,
area,
you know.
it's that.
well, it won't be, well, this part wasn't even part of the delineated wetland that
They
Ryan.
got
This is
cattails and
up-
stuff growing
upland.
in there, there's like a ditch. There's
Yeah,
a ditch in between, but the overflow from the ditch is what you're getting down going into. the
yeah,
vernal
it's
pool.
going, well, here's just an overflow from just the
Right.
site.
Right,
And this is the sediment coming,
Right.
flowing down through here. And Dave's
Wow.
just walking on it here, you
Yeah.
can see. And then over here, I think right over here is where the
Right.
wetland is. And then when we went, these are all wood frog,
Mhm.
Oh, wow, look at
little
that. Nice picture.
tadpoles. They're cute,
Good time of year to catch that.
yeah,
They-
but
they
you
were-
can
they
see
were
just
beautiful.
like the leaves, they're kind of
Yeah.
covered in sediment. Or, yeah, sediment.
Pretty milky.
This is just a picture of the stream downhill, that, I think that's why, it's a bordering vegetated wetland, because it's, has the outlet.
Hmm.
But. I mean, I think it's a vernal pool, it probably could get certified. Just look at all the wood frogs.
There was one out there we went to, Dennis, isn't there one right
You
near
guys said
there?
it was more north.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, but you know, it was all grown in, like there
Yeah,
was all kinds of
that's
stuff growing
good.
here, you know?
Mhm.
Cause I think we went that way and then came back this way.
Yeah, this is, I think, to the left of that mound with the
Yeah.
logs and stuff, or the roots.
And then there's a whole other section on the other side, it's just like a wall of stuff that's been pushed up.
Yeah,
I mean, that just surrounds the whole thing. This is almost like a break from that wall. And
yeah,
that's why stuff is coming in. It's almost
Mhm.
like if they did another wall and then continued it, then you'd get nothing, I
I
guess.
thought they did, I thought they were going to do that. So,
That
this-
didn't look like it happened.
okay,
You
so
know,
it doesn't look like anything really happened.
because all these trees are like this, so it's finding a way
Mhm,
through the
mhm.
water. On that side.
Right.
Yeah.
This is just runoff.
Wow, where'd it go? This one. Right there.
So just committee members,
Yeah.
Yeah,
as long as you want, I'm just locking everything up.
okay, shouldn't be too much longer.
1 hour later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, and could you try contacting Mr. Lexack and see what's going on? Cause there was an
He
enforcement.
was worried that because it was kind of hardened, that, you know, trying to remove that would actually cause more damage maybe. Andy was saying that. I'm like, no,
I'd have to see the plan.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, we have some minutes from September 16th.
Two 41 Holiday Drive, I rewrote the whole thing and sent that to Steve. You want me to read it to you? I will. Holiday Drive. That's bottom of page 2.
I thought that was perfect.
Well, the old one or the new one? You love
Both.
it?
I'll have to reread the other one. I didn't get to read that yet.
See it from Jerry?
No,
Neither.
Make a motion, anybody's ready.
Motion to approve the minutes?
second,
Good, all in favor? Aye,
Aye.
unanimous.
This one.
The paper.
You guys make a motion to adjourn.
No, we didn't.
not yet.
People are still signing paper.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous again, I can't believe it.